All right, we're recording. All right, well, happy Friday, everybody. TGIF. Tonight we're reading one of my favorite movies called Midnight Run. We have a fabulous cast here tonight. To my left, we have Anne playing a bunch of people, including Alonzo Mosley, the FBI agent, who is frustrated for most of the movie. Most of the people in this movie are frustrated a lot, so it makes for lots of fun. We've got Travis way down there as Jonathan Mardukas, played by Charles Grodin in the movie. Um, I knew I needed someone to annoy me a lot, so I knew Travis would be perfect for the part
You chose a
we're
good
discussing.
person.
Yeah. We've got Hunter playing a bunch of people. We're all going to be playing a lot of people tonight. Hunter's playing, among many others, Marvin Dorfler, who is this big dumb bounty hunter in the movie. So I immediately thought of Hunter again. We've got Kate doing the scene description and also playing lots of other people for us. And then last but not least, we have Jennifer playing a bunch of people, including Eddie Moscone, who's played by Joe Pantoliano in the movie Joey Pants. So again, I knew Jennifer could knock that out of the park. And
Give
then
it up for Joey Pants.
I'll be Mr. De Niro tonight. I can't rock a leather jacket like he can, but I'm gonna do my best. All right, so whenever you're ready, Kate, let's do this.
All right. Midnight Run. The screen is black. Traffic hums on the soundtrack. Music kicks in. Fade in. The credit sequence starts. Exterior Avalon Street, Watts, California, night. An old creeps slowly along the street. Badasses loiter. Before headlights, a fight is in progress out in front of a topless bar. Punches are thrown. Stragglers laugh at the mayhem. Exterior side street. This street is dead silent. The sidewalk is empty. A junkyard dog trots by on his nightly rounds. The Olds pulls into a spot at the curb. Tires crackle over broken glass. The car engine dies. Interior Olds. The driver taps a Camel cigarette, raises it to his lips, lights it with a Zippo. The flame reveals the face of Jack Walsh. Strong, haggard, a killer stare. Pressure cooker of a man, always about to explode. The flame dances. Blue smoke swirls. The flame fades. Walsh smokes his cigarette and stares at a 4-story slum across the street. He glances at his watch. It's an old and battered Timex. It's been with Walsh for many years. He checks his .45. It's loaded. Slips it in back of his shoulder holster. Opens the door. Gets out. Exterior side street. Walsh raises his collar against the Santa Ana wind and trots toward the slum. Interior hallway of the slum. Walsh enters, eyes darting, quietly moves up the first flight of stairs. The joint is silent. Interior second floor. Walsh turns the corner and moves up the stairs of the second floor. Catches a liquor bottle with his foot. Bounce, clank, crash. He grimaces. A dog barks from the first floor apartment. Cursing, he moves for the third floor. On the third floor, he hits the top step, squints, finds apartment 3C. He approaches, stops, puts his ear to the door, removes a lockpick, crouches, slips it in, jiggles it quietly, drops it. Walsh bends over to retrieve the lockpick when suddenly, blam! A shotgun unloads from the other side of the door. Wood chunks fly, a gaping hole appears in the door right where his head was the moment before. He bounces on his ass, curses, gets up, pulls out his .45, doesn't need to open the door to see into the apartment. 22-year-old Monroe Boucher climbs out of his window into the night. Clanging down the fire escape, Walsh runs down the stairs. Interior apartment. Walsh runs through the apartment to the window, looks out. He sees Boucher making his way up the fire escape. He goes out after him. Exterior rooftop. Boucher makes his way up the roof and starts running. The lights of downtown LA sparkle in the distance. Walsh hoists himself up to the roof, pursuing the fleeting Boucher. Boucher leaps up from his building over to the next. Walsh, hot on his trail, does the same thing. Boucher vaults over another alley to a third building. Ditto Walsh. Amazed that Walsh is still on his tail, Boucher makes his most daring jump yet. He lands with a tumble, scoops up his shotgun, and keeps moving. Without missing a beat, Walsh makes a leap and misses. He grabs the ledge with his armpits. He slides slowly, grasping for dear life as the old ledge cracks. It's a 4-story drop. Some debris falls away. Walsh manages to pull himself back onto the roof. Winded, he spots Boucher going down a fire escape at the far end of the building. Walsh is up and after him. Exterior Boucher's building. As Walsh appears at the rooftop, Boucher opens fire. Walsh ducks. Boucher continues down the metal staircase, and Walsh clangs down after him. Boucher hits the ground and runs into the alley. Walsh drops to the concrete in pursuit. As he turns into the alley, Boucher fires again. Garbage cans explode. Headlights of a car turn into the far end of the alley, aiming at Boucher. Boucher tries to avoid the car, but can't. He gets sideswiped. Growls with pain, and when he lands, the car skids to a stop. From it emerges Marvin Dorfler. If Walsh is the Avis of bounty hunters, Dorfler is the rent-a-wreck. He makes up for his deficiencies with force. He's loaded with dim, impulsive behavior. Walsh approaches. He and Dorfler lock eyes. They know each other well. Too well.
What the hell are you doing, Dorfler?
He's mine, Jack. Get lost.
Fuck you, he's yours. He's mine. Moscone assigned this guy to me.
Dorfler places his foot on Boucher's chest. Boucher still moans.
Well, go straighten it out with Moscone. I'll collect the money.
God damn you, Dorfler. I nearly got killed trying to
Looks
get
at a
him.
.45 and points it at Walsh.
Back off, Walsh. I said I'm taking him.
Walsh stops and smiles ear to ear.
Marvin, why are we fighting? You and me are
This clown's
friends.
worth $1,500, Jack. It's nothing personal. Now get lost.
Suddenly,
All right,
Walsh
all right.
points over Dorfler's shoulder. Walsh
Marvin,
decks
watch out.
Marvin.
Oh, is that? Boucher.
What the fuck's going on? You guys ain't cops.
No, we're musicians.
Walsh
Get in the
gets
car.
inside Marvin's car and takes off with Boucher. Cut to exterior LA County Jail parking lot. Walsh drives down the street, slowing Dorfler's car outside of LA County Jail parking lot. He pulls in, partway. Interior Dorfler's car. Boucher looks at Walsh.
Open your door.
Boucher, confused, opens the car door. Walsh does the same with his car door. Then he backs up quickly. Exterior parking lot. Both doors are ripped off the car by 2 pillars at the entrance. Then Walsh swings Dorfler's car into the parking lot through the exit. Tires explode as Walsh proceeds the wrong way over the metal teeth that block incoming traffic. Walsh keeps moving and slams into a brick wall, crunching the front end. Then Walsh puts it in reverse and roars into the parking spot he targets, crunching the rear end of the car against another brick wall. Interior car. Walsh looks at Boucher.
We get out here.
Interior County Jail. A few prisoners mill about with their lawyers. A janitor mops the floor. Handcuffed to Walsh, Boucher almost starts to cry.
Yo, all I did was come home and he was sleeping with my old lady and I shot him and then I heard the TV and the dude was like lucid and it didn't do that to him, I swear.
Walsh looks at Boucher, feels sorry for him.
Lucid means he was coherent, making sense when he talked.
Shit. He wasn't lucid before I shot him.
Behind the window, a cop named Gooch.
Hey, Gooch, I got a delivery. Monroe Boucher.
Give you any trouble?
Nah, he was real cooperative, a regular
Boucher
charm.
thanks Walsh with his eyes as a guard takes him away. Gooch hands Walsh a booking slip.
Take care of yourself, Monroe.
You too.
Exterior street. Walsh leaves the LA County Jail. The street glows with the early blue of dawn. Across the way, there's a carnival of bail bond offices. All with lights, inviting signs, Walsh heads for the sideshow. Interior, Eddie Moscone's bail bonds office, dawn. Second floor, huge glass doors, 3 desks, 14 tons of paper. A 30-year-old weasel of an assistant, Jerry Geisler, reads a newspaper. He sucks toothpicks for a living. Walsh enters.
Is Moscone in? I just dropped off Boucher.
You finally caught somebody, Jack?
Jerry, is he in?
Jerry flips through the Los Angeles Times.
It says here that 11% of people in the course of dreaming are aware of the fact that while dreaming, they're in the dream state.
Walsh has no patience for this guy.
Where is he,
And am I
Jerry?
with you, Jack?
Eddie Moscone exits his cubicle. He's a man on edge at all times, juggling cash and clients and 1,000 lies at once. He's slipping into a cheap sports jacket.
Hey, Jerry, stay in the library.
Walsh hands Moscone the booking slip and he glances at it.
Boucher was 1200, right?
No, 15.
Oh, yeah, right. I was just going over to Denny's to catch the Grand Slam breakfast. They start serving it at 6:30.
Do you have my 1500?
Of course, do you think I was going to stiff you?
You never.
Jack, you really are the best at what you do. Let me buy you some breakfast.
I don't eat breakfast.
Then have an early lunch. Hey, Jerry, watch the phones.
Exterior downtown street, early morning. Walsh and Moscone move down the street, heading for Denny's.
You'll never guess who I ran into while I was taking in Mr. Boucher.
Who's that?
Marvin Dorfler.
No, no shit. Funny how that guy keeps popping up.
Hysterical.
Jack, I'm not going to bullshit you. I got a little problem right now.
Hey, can we stop and buy a copy of Playboy? Because when I'm being jerked off, I like to look at something.
What are you talking about?
I've been through this. You're about to tell me you don't have my 1500.
Jack, I've got something better than 1500.
Interior Denny's restaurant. A typical Denny's interior. Walsh and Moscone sit at a table. Walsh sips coffee and watches Moscone wolf down his Grand Slam breakfast.
I don't have any food props tonight, damn it. Sorry, yo. Forget about it. Do you know who Jonathan Madukas is?
The Duke? Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, what do you know?
Walsh taps a Camel and lights it.
He's that accountant that embezzled a couple million from some Vegas wise guy and gave it to charity.
That was pretty good. Only it wasn't a couple of million. It was 15 million. And it wasn't just some Vegas wise guy. It was Jimmy Serrano.
Yeah, I could read a newspaper.
Well, I don't want to bring up the past, but isn't Serrano that guy that ran you out of Chicago when he was running things there years back?
Walsh tenses up.
He didn't run me out.
Sure. You left being a cop to do this shit.
What's the point?
The point, Jack, is 25,000 bucks. I bailed the accountant out. Only I didn't know who he was at the time. I didn't know who he was or whatever. If I knew, I would have never put up the bond. I mean, it would only be a matter of time before Serrano vanished him from the planet and I'm out my 450 grand.
You're out 450 grand on this guy?
No.
No?
No, because I've got you. And you're going to go find him and bring him back.
Right. How do you even know he's still alive?
Because he sends Jimmy Serrano postcards from everywhere, telling him what a great time he's having with his money.
Walsh can't help but smile.
And how much time do you have left?
Friday midnight, I default and have to eat the 450.
That's 5 days. Forget it. You go find him.
Jack, hear me out. Come on. I'll give you 50,000. I'm in JM City.
I gotta chase you down just to collect 1500. No dice.
Jack,
Jack, nothing. What else have you got?
if you don't get this guy, I might be out of business. I can't absorb this kind of loss.
I'll do it for 100 grand.
100 grand? Pfft, are you fucking mind? Jack, this is an easy gig. It's a midnight run, for Christ's sakes.
Walsh gets up.
Come on, Jack. Sit down.
If you want me for a job this big, you pay me what's right. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm tired of getting shot at.
This guy's an accountant. He's not gonna shoot you. Just put a bag over his head, hit him with a rubber hose, and stick him on an airplane.
I'll do it for 100 grand, and then I'm out of this business forever. And I want a contract. I want it in writing. 100 grand. I'll have the Duke here by Friday night.
Walsh sees that Moscone is about to give in.
Now, do you think I could have my 1500?
Moscone starts reaching for his pocket. Interior Rampart Division headquarters. Walsh moves through the Homicide Division with Detective Dave Hammond. Other detectives sit at their desks. Phone rings. The joint is jumping as usual.
I was just saying to myself that this has been the worst day in memory. All I need is Jack Walsh to appear, and look what blows in.
Dave, look, I need a favor.
What do you need? A case of Jack Daniels?
The booking slip for a guy named Jonathan Mardukas.
I'll get you a copy.
Oh, Dave, I need to see the original.
Copies were good enough for the FBI.
They're looking for him, too?
The guy's wanted in 7 states.
Interior file department. A dark cavern filled with file cabinets. Hammond pulls the police booking slip and hands it to Walsh. Walsh glances at the front. He crosses his fingers, takes a hopeful breath, and turns it over. Scribbled on the back is a telephone number with a 212 area code. Walsh smiles.
What did you find?
The number Mardukas called after he was arrested.
Walsh starts to copy it down.
212. Looks like I'm going to New York.
Exterior Beverly Boulevard, day. Walsh exits Rampart Division Police Station. A very large black man with steel-rimmed sunglasses, dressed in a sharply pressed navy blue suit, stands alongside a car. His name is Alonzo Mosley. As Walsh looks down the street, Mosley blocks his way. They lock eyes.
Excuse me.
You Jack Walsh?
Walsh senses trouble.
Do I know you?
Mosley starts to reach for his identification. Before he can get it out, Walsh starts to walk. Mosley moves to block him.
Hey, get the fuck out of my way.
Walsh shoves him back. A scuffle ensues. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, 3 men in suits appear. They surround Walsh, shove him through the crowds and into a green Plymouth. Interior Plymouth. One of the men slides in behind the wheel. Mosley gets in the front. Walsh is wedged in the back seat between 2 men. Each of them wears sunglasses. Walsh sits in the silence as the 4 men stare him down through their dark green lenses.
Inspector Mosley, Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Did you know there's a $10 fine for jaywalking in Los Angeles?
No response. The other men are agents Perry, Tuttle, and Plumett.
Are you working on anything having to do with Jonathan Mardukas?
Who's that?
The Duke.
Never heard of him.
I think you have heard of him.
Walsh slowly reaches into his breast pocket and puts on his own sunglasses. He smiles back at the group and then Mosley. Now everyone's wearing sunglasses.
Oh, fuck. Let me tell you something, asshole. I've been working 6 years trying to bring down Jimmy Serrano, and Mardukas was my shot. I want to take him to federal court.
Without missing a beat, Mosley reaches over and whips off Walsh's sunglasses.
So I don't want to see some third-rate rent-a-thug who couldn't cut it as a cop in Chicago bring him to LA for some bullshit local charge. Do I make myself clear?
Let me ask you something. Those sunglasses, they're really nice. Are those government issued, or do all you guys go to the same store to get them?
You can go now.
Plumett opens the door.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Exterior Beverly Boulevard. Walsh gets out and Plumett shuts the door. The car starts up.
Hey, you think I could have my sunglasses back?
As the car begins to roar off, Mosley tosses Walsh's sunglasses out. Walsh catches them and he watches the car disappear. Then he turns, squints, and spots a wallet on the sidewalk. He picks it up and opens it. It's Mosley's FBI identification, and Walsh smiles. Interior 747. Walsh hums a tune while he inserts his photo over Mosley's FBI ID card. A child sits next to him watching. Walsh smiles at the kid and then flashes his badge.
Mosley, FBI.
The kid looks scared.
Just kidding.
Exterior runway, JFK Airport. The 747 thunders down in the rain. Interior JFK Airport Terminal. Long faces march off the red eye. Walsh moves with purpose over to a payphone. Looks through his black book and dials.
Yeah, Harold Longman, please. Harry, Jack Walsh, did you get me that address check on that phone number? I got it. Thanks, Harry. Say hello to Julie for me.
Walsh hangs up. Interior Airport Car Rental Office. Walsh completes filling out a rental form and hands it over to an employee. Tony Daruvo, large, somewhere between muscular and overweight, approaches with Joey Rubufo, tall and thin, and New York Post under his arm.
You Jack Walsh?
Who wants to know?
That's a yes.
Joey's got a staring problem. He can't take his eyes off Walsh's coat.
We'd really like to have a word with you.
What about?
It involves big cash and lots of prizes.
Walsh lights a Camel and Joey stares at that, too.
I'll make it short and sweet. The people I work for are very interested in your visit here.
Oh, yeah, who are the people you work for?
An old friend of yours from Chicago days.
Walsh turns and locks eyes with Joey's stare.
How are you?
You're here for the Duke. You think he's in New York. We think you're right.
Hey, where'd you get that coat? Is that a London fog?
What the hell are you talking about?
Never mind him. The way I hear it, you didn't cooperate with my boss a few years back.
Walsh takes a thoughtful drag on his camel and thinks. Joey's attention shifts to Walsh's cigarette.
You smoke camels? I smoke cools.
The importance of this statement is known only to Joey. A poker-faced Walsh looks at him uncomprehendingly.
My boss would pay you a hell of a lot more for the Duke than that puts bail bondsman in LA.
Yeah, how much more?
How about a one with the 6 zeros?
Walsh feels the heat of Joey's stare, and Walsh turns.
Are you gonna propose?
Propose?
Because if you ain't, quit fucking staring at me.
Yeah, Joey, back off for Christ's sakes.
Joey steps back. The employee reappears with the contract and keys.
Here are your keys, sir. Just exit through the glass doors and the parking lot is to your left.
Walsh takes the keys. Tony has scribbled down his number on the back of a card. He puts it in Walsh's pocket.
As for Tony DeVero, that's me. They'll put you through to whatever I am. Damn it. Be good to yourself this time.
Walsh heads out through the glass doors. Exterior Queen Street. Walsh cruises along in his rented Pontiac, approaching the bridge leading into Manhattan. Interior car. As he drives, he suddenly notices that he's being tailed by Tony and Joey in a Lincoln. After a few moments of thinking, he guns the car hard. Exterior Queen Street. Walsh gets the jump on Tony and Joey. They tear off in pursuit. In the Lincoln, Joey and Tony try to keep up with him. Several trucks impair their view. Walsh disappears around the corner.
I think he's onto us.
Figured that out, did ya?
Exterior Queen's Pontiac dealership. Tony and Joey cruise by the dozens of parked Pontiacs. When they are out of sight, one of them starts up and moves off in the opposite direction with Walsh behind the wheel. In Walsh's car, he grins as he watches the Lincoln disappear in his rearview mirror. Exterior Upper West Side. The camera follows a wire from the telephone junction box, mounted on the side of a brownstone. It leads into the passenger window of Walsh's car, where it's attached to a small cassette recorder. A taxi rounds the corner and pulls up to the brownstone that Walsh is stalking. In Walsh's car, he licks his fingers, finishes off the lunch of jelly donuts. He eyeballs the older couple that exits the cab. They enter the brownstone, and Walsh hits the record button on the recorder and gets out of his car. Exterior Upper West Side. He trots up to the phone booth on the corner and dials.
Mrs. Nelson?
Yes?
Alonzo Mosley, FBI. How are you this afternoon?
No response.
Let me get to the point, if I may, Mrs. Nelson. An agent in our Los Angeles office discovered a detail that somehow was overlooked until now. It seems that when Jonathan Mardukas was arrested, you were the first person he called. Isn't that correct, Mrs. Nelson?
Still no response.
Are you there, Mrs. Nelson?
Yes?
Needless to say, this is a matter of great concern to us. If it wouldn't be too much trouble, I would like you to come down to 26 Federal Plaza tomorrow at 9 o'clock and ask for Agent Mosley. You think you could do that, please?
I suppose so.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good afternoon, Mrs. Nelson.
He hangs up and runs back to his car. In his car, he gets in and hears the touch-tone beeps through the cassette's recorder speaker. Mrs. Nelson is making a call. Walsh has tapped the line. Dana? Helen? The FBI just called. They want to speak to me about Jonathan. Walsh listens, then he hears a male voice. It's the Duke himself. Walsh hangs on every word.
Helen, what's going on?
Jonathan, the FBI just called. They know we spoke the night you were arrested.
Hang up the phone, Helen, right now.
Click. Dial tone. Walsh hits the rewind on the cassette recorder. Replays the touch-tone beeps. Smiling, he guns the car away. Exterior Brooklyn Heights. Manhattan looms across the East River as Walsh's car glides down the street. He notices a woman placing a suitcase in the trunk of a car. She heads back into her house, leaving the door ajar. Walsh checks the address of the house and stops. He gets out, sneaks towards the front porch. Exterior Mardukas home. Walsh stops at the front door, removes his .45 and listens. He pushes his way inside quietly. Inside the home, downstairs is dark. Walsh creeps across the living room. He hears movement along the upstairs. Walsh inches forward the stairs, moving up silently. Walsh is not alone. A pair of eyes watch him. A shadow moves across the wall. A huge German Shepherd follows him across the living room floor. In the staircase, Walsh craftily moves up the steps with his back to the wall. He may be stalking the Duke, but the huge Shepherd is stalking him as well. Walsh disappears around the corner in upstairs hall. The Shepherd follows its prey. Interior upstairs hall. 45 at the ready. Walsh approaches the bedroom. Walsh is beginning to sweat. About to make his move, he turns, locks eyes with the Shepherd, and Walsh's eyes bulge. The Shepherd bares its teeth, begins a low, guttural growl, and Walsh tries to stand his ground with an intimidating stare. But this is one contest that he won't win. He reaches for the doorknob behind him, opens it, bolts inside. The Shepherd lunges against the closing door, barking wildly. Jonathan Mardukas, the Duke, appears from the bedroom. Dana Mardukas' wife follows. The Duke appears almost bookish, yet there's an that word quality about him. A man
Enigmatic.
Thank you. Not my night. A man with many facets which are not apparent at first glance.
What is it, Heidi?
Heidi throws herself at the bathroom door.
What is it, John?
I don't know.
He reaches for the bathroom door, opens it, and Heidi bolts inside. In the bathroom, it's instantaneous. The Duke and Dana enter. Heidi throws herself against the glass and closed shower door. Walsh is on the other side, his FBI badge plastered against the glass door with one hand, the 45 pointed against the glass with the other.
Alonzo Mosley, FBI, get that fucking dog out of here.
The Duke hesitates.
Don't move, I'll drop you right through the fucking glass.
Do what he says. Get her out of here.
Dana grabs the barking dog and drags her out of the bathroom. Walsh steps out of the shower and the Duke has his hands up.
You're the Duke?
That's right.
Walsh cuffs him. Exterior Mardukas' home, Walsh leads the Duke to a Pontiac. Dana follows alongside, panicked. Heidi barks from inside the house.
John, what do I do?
Don't do anything, sweetheart. I'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Walsh shoves the Duke into the car.
Nice watchdog.
For $500, she should have taken your head off.
Walsh climbs behind the wheel, swings a mad U-turn, and tears away. Interior car, they speed through the night.
Congratulations.
For what?
You just did what no one else could do. You found me.
You got that right.
Exterior Long Island Expressway. Walsh guns the car onto the expressway, heading for the JFK airport. In the car, the Duke looks behind him, and Manhattan is in the distance. He turns. Airport signs are up ahead.
You're taking me to the airport, aren't you?
No answer. The Duke looks around the car with apprehension.
You don't seem like an FBI agent to me.
Yeah, well, you don't seem much like a Duke to me either.
If you're an FBI agent, why don't you just take me to the FBI office?
If you don't be quiet, this is going to be the worst trip of your fucking life.
You work for Jimmy Serrano, don't you?
No, I don't work for that piece of shit. Your bail bondsman hired me to bring you back to L.A.
I've got money, you know.
I'm sure you do.
I'll give you whatever you want.
Start by
Except for
shutting
Stone.
up.
Walsh slows the car as he takes an exit ramp. The Duke sizes up his situation. As Walsh turns the car to blend into the traffic of a busy street, the Duke opens the door and tries to jump. Walsh grimaces and reaches for him. On the street, as Walsh tries to pull the Duke back inside, he almost loses control of the car. Nearby cars screech away to avoid him. Horns blare, swerving hard, he just misses the 18-wheeler. In the car, Walsh yanks the Duke back inside, slams the door, and forces him to the floor. He cocks his 45 and levels it in the Duke's face.
It is truly in your best interest for you to just fucking relax.
I'm relaxed. I'm totally relaxed.
Exterior American Airlines terminal. Walsh pulls up and slams on the brakes. They both get out. Walsh puts his 45 in his bag.
I can't keep you cuffed on a commercial flight, and I gotta check my gun in with the luggage, but fuck with me once and I'll break your neck.
I can't fly.
What?
You heard me. I can't fly.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
I don't have to do better than that because that's the truth. I can't fly. I suffer from aviphobia.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It means I can't fly. I also suffer from acrophobia and claustrophobia.
Walsh takes him firmly by the arm.
When we get to LA, you can tell the prison psychiatrist all about it. You fuck with me, you'll suffer from fistophobia.
Interior American Airlines terminal. A row of payphones. Walsh is on the phone. The Duke is cuffed to him. Walsh jabs a bunch of numbers.
Jerry, give me my scone. You there, Jerry? God damn it, Jerry. This is always happening.
I hope we
Jerry's
miss our
taking care of the
flight.
dog.
I hope
Oh,
we
there
miss
you
the
go.
flight.
I think Jerry's with his dog right now, but
Hold on.
Intercut Walsh and Moscone. Moscone picks up the phone and Jerry quietly listens on the extension.
Jack.
I got him.
Got who?
The Duke, he's standing right here.
You got him? Already?
You want to say hello?
Walsh yanks the Duke to the phone and forces it to his face.
Say hello to your bail bondsman, Eddie Moscone.
Hello. Hello.
Walsh
Damn
yanks
it,
the
Duke.
phone back.
There you go, Jonathan Mardukas in the flesh.
Where are you now?
Exterior street, dead quiet. The street is empty except for a van parked on the street from Moscone's.
I found him in New York. We're at JFK.
In the van, 2 federal agents have tapped into Moscone's phone lines. Both wear headphones and the van is filled with cables, meters, phone tapping equipment.
We're coming in on Flight 97, American Airlines. We'll be there at 11, your time.
Agent 1 scrambles down the information. Interior Moscone's office.
I love you, Jack. God damn it. I really fucking do.
Yeah, see you soon.
Moscone hangs up and races out of his cubicle. Something is afoot with Jerry and he hangs up slowly.
Walsh picked up the Duke.
No kidding. That's great, Eddie. Let's celebrate. Do you want some donuts?
Yeah, I'll run down to Winchell's and get a dozen and then get me a few of those, what's the, apple fritters.
You got it, Eddie.
Jerry grabs his jacket and moves out the door. On the street, Jerry zips up his jacket and moves quickly toward the payphone at the corner. He passes right by the FBI van. Angle on the phone booth, Jerry grabs the receiver and dials.
Hello? This is Jerry Geisler. Can you put me through to Tony DeRuvo?
Interior Brooklyn Steakhouse. Joe eats his dinner in the background. Still chewing his steak, Tony approaches the phone. He picks up the receiver.
Yeah.
Intercut Tony and Jerry.
Tony, this is Jerry Geisler. How are you?
I'm eating dinner. Chew, chew, chew.
I'm sorry to bother you, but Walsh found the Duke and he's bringing him in on American Airlines, Flight 97. They'll be at LAX at 11 o'clock. Don't forget me, huh?
Interior Starlight Casino, Las Vegas. Phil, a pit boss, moves through the crowd and approaches the high roller crap table. A man who exudes importance has his back to us. He's laughing with a group of VIP gamblers. Phil taps the man on the shoulder who turns. It's Jimmy Serrano. $2,000 suit. You can take Jimmy out of the streets, but you can't take the streets out of Jimmy.
Mr. Serrano?
Serrano turns and Phil leans in and whispers.
DeRuvo called. Your friends are going to be flying into LA at 11 o'clock.
Serrano excuses himself from the group. Interior LA FBI office. A long hallway, Mosley strides with determination, steel-rimmed sunglasses hanging from his breast pocket. In his wake, Perry, Tuttle, and Humid struggle to keep up. Tuttle just has to ask.
How did Walsh find him so fast?
Humid winches and gestures to Tuttle to keep quiet before further enraging Mosley. They all move for the door. Interior 747. Walsh and the Duke enter the first-class section. Walsh smiles, already spending his money. They're directed to their seats. Walsh eases back into his spacious seat. Stretching out, he takes full advantage of the legroom. The Duke, of course, sits next to him, looking nervous.
Wow, first class is nice. I can make a habit out of this. America, what a country, huh?
The stewardess approaches.
Oh, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you.
She hands them menus.
Would you gentlemen like something to drink once we're in the air?
We'd like your best champagne.
She leaves. Walsh enthusiastically studies the menu.
I'm going to have the steak. How about you, John?
I'm not hungry.
Well, then get the lobster so I can get a little surf and turf action going.
Walsh happily straps himself in. The Duke is not doing well. Walsh straps the Duke in. Exterior 747. The jet pulls away from the jetway. Inside the 747, the Duke is sweating.
Enjoy the ride.
I am not going to make it.
The Duke grabs the stewardess, unstraps himself.
I can't go through with this. I can't.
Sir, you'll have to sit down. We're taxiing.
The engine increases. Roar. People turn, start watching the unfolding scene.
I will not sit down. This is my life.
Walsh gets up, tries to calm the situation down.
Stewardess, please. This man's my prisoner, and I'm taking him back to Los Angeles.
The Duke regresses, sounds more and more like a child.
I'm getting claustrophobic. I can't take it. I've got this recurring nightmare where I feel as if I'm losing control, and this feels the same way.
You're right. You're not in control. I'm in control. Now sit down.
We
How
should
long
be
is-
in Los Angeles in just. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. How long is this flight?
We should be in Los Angeles in just 5 hours.
Should be in Los Angeles. That means you're not sure. If you were sure, you'd say we'd be in Los Angeles in just over 5 hours.
Stewardess backs away from the situation and moves up the aisle. She enters the cockpit.
All right, enough. Now
Got
sit
battle on
down.
you.
I'm in a casket and they're burying me alive. I'm in a casket and they're burying me alive. I can't get out. I can't breathe.
The Duke breaks free and turns.
These things go down. You can't do it. You can't make me fly. I'll go back to Los Angeles with you, but you can't make me fly.
Exterior 747. The engines die. The plane stops. Inside at the 747, the captain appears from the cockpit, moving down the aisle.
All right, everyone, just calm down.
Alonzo Mosley, FBI.
You can't take a prisoner on board a plane if he doesn't want to fly. You should know that.
I do. I'm sorry. I thought he was bluffing. Let's forget the whole thing.
I suggest you find some other mode of transportation.
Walsh nods and closes his eyes. He hates what's coming next. Interior Grand Central Station. The PA system echoes forth departure times. Commuters run for trains. Some bums hang out in the newsstand while others sleep on benches. Walsh strides through the crowd with the Duke in tow. He notices a slight smile on his face.
What the fuck are you smiling at?
I love to travel by train.
What do you think this is, the class trip?
Are you always this angry?
I'm in a great mood right now. You wait until I've been cooped up on that thing for a while. You'll be running for that jail cell.
Interior underground train platform. Packed with passengers and porters, the Lakeshore Limited is on the platform.
Are you still going to make your deadline, Jack?
With 14 hours to spare.
Walsh shoves the Duke onto the train. Interior hall of sleeping cars. The Walsh and the Duke follow Miles, the porter. Walsh blocks Miles's view of the cuffs.
And you are?
Jack Walsh.
And
Guest.
this way, gentlemen.
Interior sleeping compartment. Miles leads Walsh and the Duke to a small sleeping compartment. 2 bunk beds. Miles leaves and Walsh unlocks his side of the handcuffs and opens the bathroom door.
You know, Jack, it really shows me that you are a quality human being for not forcing me to fly against my will.
Walsh cuffs the Duke to the handicap railing and slams the bathroom door. Interior underground train platform. The Lakeshore Limited lurches to a start, picking up speed as it begins its journey west. Interior Los Angeles American Airlines terminal. As the passengers start to deplane, several hitmen scattered about the terminal scan each face looking for the Duke. As the crowd grows thinner, they exchange puzzled glances. As it becomes apparent Walsh and the Duke are not on the plane, Mosley and his men appear, as if out of nowhere. Harry flashes his ID at the flight attendant as the agents board. The hitmen shoot glances back and forth, reading the situation carefully. Interior cockpit of the plane. Mosley and Perry stand in front of the captain.
Inspector Mosley, FBI.
Mosley? Are all you guys named Mosley?
What are you talking about?
You're here to pick up a prisoner, right?
How'd you know that?
He was afraid to fly, so he got off the plane. Left with an Agent Mosley.
Once again, Tuttle needlessly expounds on the obvious.
Sir, that must mean that Walsh has your identification.
Mosley can barely contain himself. Interior Serrano's penthouse. The Las Vegas skyline twinkles outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. Serrano is on the phone speaking with restrained rage.
I thought you said he was going to be on that plane.
Interior Midtown bar. Tony is on the other end of the phone. Joey leans in, trying to hear what Serrano is saying. The closeness irritates Tony, who turns away.
That's the information we got.
Intercut Serrano and Tony.
You listen to me. I want this motherfucker's lights out, and you better get more personality involved and stop sending other people to do your job.
You got it.
If you don't, I'll stab you right through the fucking heart with a fucking pencil.
They hang up. Tony, relieved to be off the phone, turns to Joey.
What'd I tell you? It's gonna be our ass.
Exterior train. The Lakeshore Limited thunders past into the night. In the sleeping compartment, Walsh lies on the bed and writes on a pad. The Duke's voice can be heard from the bathroom.
Jack.
Walsh ignores him.
Jack.
Walsh tries to shut him out.
Jack!
What the fuck do you want?
I told you I was claustrophobic. Jack, I know you're upset with me, but it's stuffy in here. Come on, Jack. What do you think I'm going to do? Jump off a train going 90 miles an hour?
Walsh finally gets up and opens the bathroom door. He uncuffs the Duke and leads him to the second bed. He cuffs him to that. Walsh sits back on his bed and continues his writing.
Thank you, Jack. What are you doing?
Arithmetic.
Maybe I can help you. I am an accountant.
Well, I was thinking after I turn your ass in and collect my money, I want to open up a restaurant.
How much is it exactly that you're getting from me?
100,000.
Does that mean you'd let me go for 100,000?
I never took a payoff in my life. I'm not going to start now.
The Duke considers this for a second.
A restaurant is very tricky investment, Jack. More than half of them fail within the first year. As an accountant, I would have to advise you against it.
Walsh studies the Duke for a moment.
What kind of restaurant were you thinking about opening?
A family restaurant.
Why a family restaurant? Family restaurant. Do you have a family, or did they break the law and you took them in too? I'm sorry, Jack. That was uncalled for.
Interior Moscone's office. A cigarette butt dangling from his lips, Moscone looks at his watch and he turns to Jerry.
Can't talk with this shit in my lip. Whatever. Fuck it. How the hell could he miss that plane? He called from the goddamn airport. Goodbye, pen. Slash cigarette. Look at this. Smoking again. Get Dorfler on the phone. See if he's still in for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
Jerry reaches for the phone. It's all good. Interior Pittsburgh motel. A cheap room. Lit only by the glow of the TV set, eating junk food, Marvin Dorfler sits on the bed watching the Robin Leach wax euphoric about the French Riviera. Nearby, we can make out a thin, wired Pittsburgh thug, handcuffed to a radiator.
Could I at least have a French
I
fry?
told you no, peck of breath. Shut up.
The phone rings and Dorfler picks it up. Intercut Dorfler in Moscone's office.
Marvin, hang on a second. Eddie, I got him.
Moscone picks up the phone.
Marvin, I got a job for you. Big money. I gave it to Walsh, but he's fucking it up.
Well, I don't know why you keep hiring that guy.
I know, Marvin, I know. You're right. You're the best. You always come through for me. So here's the job.
I'm listening.
You ever hear the Duke?
No,
Jonathan Mardukas, the Duke?
I never heard of him.
That's okay, Marvin. It's okay. It's not important. Forget about it. What is important is that you got to find him and get him back here as soon as possible. Last I heard, Walsh had him in New York. But I don't know where the hell he is now. So you pick him up, I'll pay you exactly what I'm paying Walsh.
What's that?
25,000. But you got to get him back by midnight Friday.
Don't worry. I'll get him.
Dorfler hangs up.
You scumbag.
You talking
No,
to
the
me?
guy behind you. Today's your lucky day.
How's
Dorfler
that?
glances into his little black book filled with dark tidbits. He picks up the phone and dials.
American Express. This is Jack Walsh. Excuse me, John Wesley Walsh. I lost my card. I want to know the last place I used it. Here's the card number.
Dorfler reads off the credit card number and it checks out.
The Amtrak office at Grand Central Station. Thank you very much. By the way, maybe we better cancel that card.
Dorfler hangs up and stands, shoves all of his wrinkled belongings into a huge duffel bag, grabs his .45, and heads for the door.
Where are you
I'll be
going?
back in a few minutes, jerk off. Wait here.
Exterior motel. Dorfler closes the door, moves for his rent-a-car, tosses the duffel bag inside, climbs in, starts the car, spins his wheels towards the Pittsburgh Turnpike. Interior dining car. Walsh eats his fried chicken dinner. The Duke, handcuffed, struggles to lay out a row of vitamins.
Jack, this is very difficult.
What are you, a drug addict?
No, these are vitamins.
You piss 90% of that out of your system.
I'm not going to discuss nutrition with a man who eats deep fried food and smokes cigarettes. And by the way, people who smoke should take extra vitamin C. If you like, I could outline a complete program for you.
Yeah, why don't you mail it to me from C Block?
I don't think you're as mean as you pretend to be. Why do you smoke? You know, it's not good for you.
I don't think about it.
Well, that's living in denial.
I'm aware of that.
That sounds kind of foolish, don't you think, Jack?
No, stealing $15 million from Jimmy Serrano sounds foolish.
I didn't think I'd get caught.
That's living in denial.
I'm aware of that.
Also, you're aware of your behavior, but continue to do things that aren't good for you. Sounds sort of foolish, don't you think, John?
What I did helped a lot of people.
So you pissed off a mafioso killer just to be loved by a bunch of fucking strangers. That makes a lot of sense.
Jack, do you have a family?
I don't like sharing the intimate details of my life with strangers.
How far is it going to go? I'll probably be dead in a few days.
How do you figure that?
With what I know about Serrano and his business, I won't last less 24 hours in jail. You know that.
I have an ex-wife and daughter living in Chicago.
Oh, are we going to stop off and see them?
I haven't seen either of them in 9 years.
You haven't seen your wife and daughter in 9 years.
What, is there an echo in here?
Your job must have been tough on them.
I was a cop then.
You were a cop in Chicago. You must know all about Jimmy Serrano.
Yeah, I even met him a couple of times.
Really? What's he like in person?
You have a way of worming things out of people that I don't like.
Walsh shoves his food aside. He gets up and leaves $2 for a tip.
$2. Is that all you're going to leave?
It's 15%.
It's 13%. Look at the bill. I'm an accountant. I know about these things.
Walsh turns and fishes around his jacket for his wallet again. He finds it, turns, the Duke is gone. Walsh bolts for the exit. Interior passenger car. Walsh bursts into the car looking for the Duke and spots him going through the door at the far end. Walsh runs down the aisle, shoving passengers aside as he chases after the Duke. Interior section between cars. The sliding door hisses open and Walsh enters the compartment. The Duke has already opened the door to the outside. The night rages by and the Duke wants to jump. He hesitates. He locks eyes with Walsh in a panic and Walsh stops.
Well, what are you going to do? Jump out of a train going 90 miles an hour?
The Duke looks at Walsh.
Go ahead. I'll get off at the next stop, scoop you up, and mail you back to L.A.
The Duke thinks it over. He can't do it. Walsh walks over and shuts the door. He yanks the Duke back towards their compartments. Exterior Cleveland, Ohio train station. The Lakeshore Limited roars to a lumbering stop. Conductors and porters step off the train. Passengers start to board and exit. We recognize one of them. It's Marvin Dorfler, looking as if he ran all the way from Pittsburgh. Interior coach passenger car. The Dorfler boards. The car interior is dark. The conductor punches Dorfler's ticket. Dorfler moves down the aisle, scanning the crowd. Some are asleep, couples cuddled in seats, a sailor sleeping across 2 seats. Dorfler heads to the next car and the train begins moving. Inside a sleeper car, the train rocks with speed and Dorfler moves through the sliding door. He approaches Miles, the porter.
Trying to find your room?
Nah, I'm looking for Jack Walsh's. He told me to meet him there. Well, thanks.
Dorfler moves down the hall to the next car. Interior hall of the last sleeper car. Dorfler moves silently down the hall, finds room 4. The coast is clear. He tries Walsh's door, but it's locked. He slips in a lockpick and he opens the door silently. He removes his .45. Inside the compartment, Dorfler peeks in. Walsh is faintly snoring. A train roars by in the opposite direction. Walsh stirs in his sleep. Dorfler slowly moves to the bathroom and opens the door. He finds the Duke. Dorfler gags him with his hand and points the .45 at him.
One word, and you're dead.
Suddenly, Walsh's fist smashes into the side of Dorfler's head. Inside the hall of sleepers, Walsh and Dorfler blast through the hallway, tumble to the floor. Walsh punches Dorfler. Dorfler's .45 skids along the carpet. Miles appears in the hall. Walsh scoops up the .45 and points it at Dorfler. He flashes the FBI badge at Miles.
Yeah, Alonzo Mosley, FBI. How did you find out where I was?
Walsh yanks Dorfler up and Dorfler rubs his bruised head.
Fuck you, shithill. I don't have to answer to you. You ruined my fucking car.
Radio ahead. I want the local police at the next stop to place this man under arrest.
Dorfler grins and starts laughing.
What the hell are you talking about?
Walsh slams Dorfler's head into the wall. He sags, collapses, and kisses the carpet.
That's enough out of you. Go ahead. Get on the horn. Call the cops.
The Duke whispers to Walsh.
Who is this guy?
Another bounty hunter. Count your blessings he's not taking you in.
Interior hall of the FBI office. Perry hurries down the hall, headed for Mosley's office. He knocks and enters. Mosley's office, Walsh begins from the plane flight are scattered across the desk. Mosley looks out the window at the LA lights. He turns.
Good news or bad news?
Mardukas and Walsh are on the Amtrak and headed to Los Angeles. Apparently, another bounty hunter was arrested after he tried to take Mardukas away.
I want the jet ready in 20 minutes.
Exterior South Bend, Native Americana train station, early morning. The Lakeshore Limited roars into the station. Armed policemen line the platform. Marked and unmarked police cars are parked nearby. Mosley, Perry, Tuttle, and Clements move across the platform as the train thunders to a stop. They board. Interior sleeping car. Mosley approaches Miles and flashes his badge, backed by the other feds.
Where's Jack Walsh?
He got off with the other fella 2 or 3 stops ago. His real name is Mosley.
I'm Mosley!
Interior Fremont, Ohio bus station. The Duke stands cuffed to Walsh, who jabs a number into a payphone. A bum works his way through the row of phones, checking the coin returns. He reaches across Walsh, checking his phone for change, and Walsh explodes.
Get out of here. Can't you see I'm on the phone?
The bum backs off. Interior Moscone's office. Jerry is half asleep watching an old movie on TV. Moscone is crashed out on the cot in his office and the phone rings. Moscone yells from his sleep.
Get it!
Eddie Moscone, bail bondsman.
Yeah, Jerry,
Interco-
give me Moscone.
The sound of Walsh's voice snaps Jerry awake. This is the call he's been waiting for.
Jesus, Jack, where are you?
Moscone is already heard. He grabs the phone at his desk.
Forget about it. Fuck. Jack, where the fuck are you?
Interior FBI van. The 2 agents with headphones snap awake.
How the hell did Dorfler end up on my ass? Did you put him on this, you son of a bitch?
How could I put him on you? I don't even know where the hell you are. Jack, you still got the Duke or what?
Intercut Walsh and Moscone. Jerry's on the other line, listening to every word.
Yeah, I got him.
The Duke reaches into his pocket and hands the bum a few dollars.
Where the hell are you?
Somewhere between Cleveland and Toledo. We're about to get on a bus to LA.
Interior FBI van. The 2 agents lock eyes. One nods they've gotten the information.
Jack, are you out of your motherfucking mind?
The dispatcher announces the departure of their bus over the PA.
I can't get into it right now, Eddie. I just wanted to let you know we're on our way. The bus is leaving. I'll talk to you later.
Walsh hangs up. Inside Moscone's office, Moscone lights a cigarette. Jerry picks up his jacket.
What the hell is this guy doing?
I don't know, Eddie. You want me to go get some donuts or something?
What do I look like, a diabetic? Forget about it. Where the hell is that goddamn Dorfler?
I don't know, Eddie. I think I'm gonna step outside for some air.
Jerry turns and moves quickly out of the office. On the street, he trots to a payphone at the corner, passes the FBI van, grabs the phone, and starts dialing. Inside the van, Agent 1 watches as Geisler through the rear window of the van. Interior Fremont, Ohio bus station. Walsh and the Duke stand at the ticket window.
How's our schedule doing now, Jack?
Don't worry, I'll get you there on time.
Yay.
A ticket clerk slides Walsh's credit card back to him. I'm sorry, sir, but this card has been canceled.
No, that's impossible.
I double-checked it. Sorry, I can't accept it. Walsh digs into his pockets and it's apparent that he doesn't have enough money. He turns to the Duke.
How much money you got?
A lot.
Walsh digs into the Duke's pockets and comes up with a few bills.
You call that a lot of money?
I'm not the one who can't pay his credit card bills.
Walsh finishes counting and slaps the money on the counter.
Just made it. 2 tickets to LA.
Interior holding cell of Elyria Police Station. Dorfler sits smoking cigarettes. A few local detectives nearby. Mosley enters with Tuttle and Clements.
Who the fuck are you?
Mosley, FBI.
Dorfler panics.
God damn it, I didn't do anything.
Sit down. I just want to ask you some questions.
Dorfler slides back into his seat and Mosley towers over him, takes one of Dorfler's cigarettes, lights it with his lighter, and pockets the cigarette.
Yeah, help yourself.
Mosley lights it, inhales, and blows a blue wad at Dorfler.
What do you know about Jack Walsh?
Exterior Serrano's penthouse balcony. Serrano, in his silk robe, sipping coffee, overlooking the city, desert, and beyond. Neon against the desert town. Serrano is wired and loaded with adrenaline. The doorbell rings. Serrano, still locked in thought, heads inside. Inside his penthouse, Serrano crosses the room. A bodyguard is headed to open the door. Serrano reaches under his desk, pushing a button that unlocks the security door.
Hey, I got it. Get out of here.
Sid Lyman, Serrano's attorney, enters.
What do you want, Sid? I said, what do you want, Sid? Stop wasting my time. Oh, you think you're funny, Sid? Just sit there silently, eh?
I think you and I should talk. I heard somebody picked Mardukas up in New York.
Yeah, it's old news. I'm on it.
I don't have to tell you what will happen if he becomes a government witness.
That won't be the case, eh?
I assumed you were taking that position. I am supposed to advise you against such acts.
Hey, Sid, why don't you relax? Go have a drink, eh? It's all gonna be over in a couple of minutes.
Exterior Elkhart Native Americana suburbs. The Greyhound bus speeds by. Inside the bus, Walsh and Duke sit towards the back. While Walsh tries to sleep, the Duke is wide awake.
You know, the way you spoke to that homeless man back there in the bus station was a perfect example of misdirected anger. You should learn to focus on what is really hurting you and work on that.
Walsh tries to ignore him.
Can I ask, why is it you haven't seen your wife and daughter in 9 years?
My ex-wife got married to a police captain, and I'm not very popular with the Chicago
Why
Police
aren't you
Department.
popular with the Chicago Police Department?
What, do we know each other?
Did you do something wrong?
That
Are
doesn't
you
concern
hurt?
you.
I'm sorry.
No. What are you sorry
I asked
about?
if you were hurt, and you said you were sorry.
I didn't say I was sorry. You said I was sorry. You're starting to put words in my
You're a
mouth.
grown man. You have control of your own words.
You're goddamn right I do. So here come 2 words for you. Shut the fuck up.
Interior holding cell of the police station. Perry enters, motions quickly to Mosley. Mosley moves to Perry in the doorway and they talk quietly. Walsh called Moscone about a half hour ago from outside of Toledo. He's on a Greyhound bus headed for Chicago.
Let's go.
They head for the door. A local detective calls after him, motioning at Dorfler.
Inspector, what do we do with this guy?
Let him go.
Mosley moves out and Dorfler grabs his jacket, turns to the local detective.
Son of a bitch took my cigarettes.
Exterior Gary Native Americana Greyhound bus station. A few cars scattered on the lot. A black Chrysler is parked towards the back end. Inside the Chrysler, Tony sits at the wheel, smoking. He looks annoyed. Joey plays with a tassel that hangs from the rearview mirror.
What's wrong with you? Do you have to touch everything? That's fucking annoying.
Joey glances out the platform. A guy casually smokes a cigarette. Another reads a magazine, and more guys can be seen in the terminal. It's another group of hitmen. A sniper waits on the roof.
Do you think we'll get him?
Fuck, they can't all miss.
Exterior bus station. The bus swings into the terminal and it hisses to a stop. The door opens. On the rooftop, through the sniper's crosshairs, we see passengers begin to file off the bus. Inside the bus, the Duke looks out the window and turns to Walsh.
Can I stretch my legs?
Yeah, if you can do it sitting down.
Come on, Jack. We're going to be stuck on this thing for a couple of days.
Walsh gives in. The two of them start down the aisle just as they're about to step off the bus. In the parking lot, from out of nowhere, federal cars swing up, surrounding the bus. Mosley's car swings in, slams its brakes, and he gets out and heads to the back and approaches the bus. Inside the Chrysler, Tony and Joey's jaws drop.
Who the hell are these guys? Who the hell are these guys?
I don't know. Forget about it. Damn it. They were.
It's the fucking feds.
Exterior bus. Neither Walsh nor the Duke have time to react. Perry slams Walsh against the bus. Tuttle implements slam the Duke against the bus. More feds surround them. Local cops appear. Both Walsh and the Duke are forced into the stress spread eagle position. Mosley appears, locks eyes with the Duke.
You and I have a lot of talking to do.
Mosley puts on his sunglasses for effect and looks at Walsh.
Remember me?
Oh yeah, Agent Foster Grant. Hey Alonzo, aren't you gonna thank me for doing your job for you?
Thanks, Walsh.
Exterior rooftop. Suddenly the sniper takes aim and fires at the Duke. Exterior of the bus, he misses, hitting the side of the bus. Mosley swings out his .38. The sniper fires again. Hits the local cop. People scream and run, hit the deck. Perry, Tuttle, Plumids all pull out their pieces. More gunfire. The hitman with the magazine fires. Walsh forces the Duke to the pavement and the bullet blasts the windows of the Greyhound. More screams. The hitmen from the terminal are now on the platform, firing. Bullets scream all around the Duke and Walsh. The hitman with the magazine keeps firing. Perry opens fire. The hitman sails over the railing and Mosley fixes on the sniper.
Freeze!
The sniper
Dirtbag!
turns to fire. Mosley blows the sniper off the roof. Inside the Chrysler, watching from a distance,
Fuck this.
What the fuck? Forget about what the hell happened to your accent. Yeah, I hit it. Get the fuck out of here.
exterior parking lot. Tony guns the Chrysler away. Exterior FBI car. Amidst the crossfire, Walsh and the Duke crawl up to the first car they find. They sneak inside. Inside the FBI car, the keys dangle in the ignition. Walsh shoves the Duke across the passenger seat. Exterior parking lot. Walsh slams the door, starts the car, and guns it away. Inside the FBI car, the Duke is near hysterics.
Oh God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Let me go.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
What was that? Why would they shoot at us like that?
Those were Serrano's people. He's not even waiting until you get to jail.
The Duke picks up a clipboard and he starts to read it.
Alonzo Mosley. Isn't that the name you've been using?
Give me that.
Walsh yanks it away and reading as he drives.
Oh, isn't that nice? This is Mosley's car.
If you want to turn me in, why are you running away from the FBI?
I only get my money when I deliver you to LA, not to the feds. Oh, God damn it. They've got a wiretap on Moscone's phone line.
Exterior road. Walsh turns off the road. A police chopper roars by, heading for the bus station. Inside the FBI car,
We're not going to get too far in a stolen FBI car.
as they both get out, Walsh reaches into his pocket, removes his sunglasses, and sets them on the steering wheel.
What's that for?
It's an inside joke between me and Alonzo.
Exterior AM/PM Mini Mart. Tony and Joey are at a payphone. Joey polishing off a box of Cracker Jacks. He taps the bottom of the box and gets the crumbs.
Sorry, Jimmy, it didn't happen.
Interior Serrano's penthouse. Serrano's on the other end of the line using the speaker box. Lyman sits at the bar nervously sipping a drink. Intercut Serrano and Tony.
Yeah, what was that again?
It didn't happen. There were about 30 feds there, along with local heat, and a lot of heads got popped.
Lyman paces, nervous, and shakes his head.
Yeah.
Shakes his head.
Okay. You better get off the line, Jimmy.
Shut up!
They've got a tap.
I said shut up! Where's Mardukas? In custody.
Joey fishes the prize out of the Cracker Jack box and opens it. It's a whistle. He begins blowing it, annoyingly.
I don't know. There was so much commotion.
Joey blows the whistle again.
Well, you knock it off.
Let me make it simple for you guys, alright? I am not to get another phone call like this. If I do, I'll blowtorch the both of yous. Capiche?
Serrano hangs up, then suddenly knocks the speaker box off the table.
Should have killed that son of a bitch Walsh back in Chicago.
Exterior Gail Bruner's house. Walsh climbs out of a cab with the Duke. Middle-class homes, manicured lawns, hands his last dollar bills over to the cab driver. The cab pulls away.
I can't believe this. I haven't seen him for 9 years, and the first thing out of my mouth is going to be, "Can I borrow a few $100?"
I have a feeling that this is going to be very good for you.
They move towards the house. This is the first time Walsh appears unsure of himself. Slightly unkempt from the journey, he makes a feeble attempt to straighten out his hair and clothing. The Duke lends a hand, fixing Walsh's collar and adjusting a loose lock of hair.
Hold on. Okay. You look great.
Walsh rings the doorbell. They wait in expectant silence. 7-year-old Jason opens the door and looks at Walsh and the Duke.
Who are you guys?
I'm your mother's ex-husband.
Jason slams the door.
Mom!
Nice kid.
The door opens, revealing Gail, very attractive. She stares at Walsh.
Jack.
Hi, Gail.
The Duke watches the strained exchange.
They mentioned you and him at the news this morning. Are you all right?
Walsh looks at her deeply with desperate eyes.
Can I come in for a few minutes?
She nods. Walsh and the Duke enter the house. Interior Galebrunner's house. They enter the foyer.
You're in a lot of trouble. Did you impersonate an FBI agent?
Gail, I won't stay long. I need some money to get to LA. You know I'm good for it.
Walsh feels shame, fear, confusion.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm just in a jam. You look so beautiful.
Gail bites her lip. Tears fill her eyes. She looks gorgeous. Meanwhile, Jason has been studying the Duke.
You don't look much like a criminal.
I'm a white-collar criminal.
Jack, you shouldn't be here. If Ted comes home, he'll arrest you. And him.
Arrest us? Well, then we'd really be in trouble because I'm a little short on bribe money.
Jack, don't start. Please. She's not a good day for this.
Yeah, Jack, don't start.
Look, I'm sorry my fugitive timetable doesn't coincide with your social calendar.
I don't think she was saying that, Jack.
Stay out of this, John.
Same old Jack gets his feelings hurt and tries to hurt everyone around him.
Gail, the last thing I need now is one of your lectures.
I'm trying to protect you, stupid. Ted's going to be home any minute. Tonight's a very important night for us. We're all going out.
Well, what's so special about tonight? Wait, let me guess. Payoff night.
That's enough.
All right, everyone. All right. Let's not fight.
Look, I'm in a big fucking jam. I just need some money. All I've got to do is get this guy to LA and I'm out of this miserable business forever.
Walsh's 15-year-old daughter, Denise, appears in the doorway. A vision. Walsh turns with a lump in his throat. The Duke looks at her, at Walsh. Emotions fly through the room. Walsh can barely speak.
Hi. Hi, Denise.
Denise floats across the room, approaches her haggard father, and looks into his eyes, holds him tight. Gail fights the tears and loses. Tears roll down her face. Walsh hugs Denise as tight as he can. Still cuffed to the Duke, he drags the reminder of who he is. Hi, Daddy.
You're so grown up.
They break their embrace. He looks into Denise's eyes.
Well, that's all I wanted to do. Just hold you for a minute.
Walsh turns to Gail.
I'll go now. I'm sorry.
Hang on.
She disappears into the kitchen. Walsh looks at the Duke. Gail comes back with cash and car keys, hands them to Walsh.
I only have $40, but you can take my car if you want. I'll tell Ted it's in the shop. We'll worry about it after you get to LA.
Walsh slowly takes the keys.
Does he take good care of you?
She nods affirmatively.
That's all I want to know. What will he say about this?
He'll understand.
Walsh looks at her. There's so much distance, so much time, so much unsaid, and he nods.
That's love.
Exterior Gail's driveway. Walsh exits the house and cuffs the Duke inside the LTD. Denise follows, approaching her father. She has a stack of bills in her hands. It isn't much, about $180, babysitting money. Take it.
No, I can't do that, sweetheart.
Please. Daddy? Walsh looks at her. There's not much to say. No time. He takes the money and nods. He gets in the LTD, pulls out quickly. Denise remains on the lawn, watching them descend into the distance. Interior LTD. Walsh is silent, watching his daughter fade from sight in the rearview mirror.
You have a beautiful daughter, Jack.
I just like to be quiet for a while.
Walsh continues to drive and then, out of nowhere, pulls a U-turn. On the street, the LTD swings completely around, heading back the way it came. Exterior Gail's house. Denise watches the car return. Suddenly, from behind her, her stepfather, Gail's husband, Ted Bruner, pulls his car into the driveway. Inside the LTD, still at a distance, Walsh slows to a stop. He watches the sad sight. All of what he could have been. Ted, well-dressed and unaware of Walsh's presence, puts an arm around Denise, leading her back into the house. Just before she disappears inside the driveway, she turns, giving her real father a farewell glance. Walsh, in a trance, watches the door close. The Duke sits quietly. With a start, Walsh drives up to the house and he gets out of the car. Exterior house. Walsh crosses the line, approaches the front door. Out of his pocket, he takes the money that Denise gave him, puts it in the mailbox. He turns and heads back to the LTD and drives off. Exterior phone booth. Highway traffic roars in the background. Walsh, wrestling with a road map, punches in a telephone number, and the Duke is cuffed alongside him. Interior Moscone's office. Jerry grabs the ringing phone.
Eddie Moscone, Bill Bondsman.
Intercut Walsh in Moscone's office.
Jerry, Jack, give me my scone.
Jerry's nervous. He keeps feeding the mob bad information. He shouts at Moscone's cubicle.
Hey, Eddie, it's Jack.
Jerry listens in. Interior FBI van, the two agents snap awake. Interior office, Moscone is in the middle of a rap with a lawyer and a criminal. He cuts them off with a wave and grabs the phone.
I was going to try and be Lin-Manuel Miranda with something about forget about it, but I couldn't think of anything in time. Jack, where are you?
I'm in Boise, Idaho.
In the van, the agents start writing.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm in Casper, Wyoming. No, wait, I'm in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm in the lobby of a Howard Johnson's. I'm wearing a pink carnation.
The agents lock eyes with confusion. Interior office.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other guys.
What other fucking guys?
Let me describe the scene to you.
Interior FBI van. The four agents listen in.
There's these guys, see? They've probably been up for 2 days, so they stink of BO, have coffee breath, they're constipated, they have hemorrhoids from sitting on their asses for so long.
The agents shift nervously. One looks at his thermos coffee cup. Inside the office.
They're sitting in a van, probably parked up the street from your office.
Moscone takes the phone over to the window and parts the blinds. He spots the van on the corner. Exterior phone booth.
But now they're going to have to pack up all their shit and go home because I'm on to them, you dumb fucks. I'm not using this line anymore.
Interior FBI van. The agents lock eyes, realizing they've been had. Intercut Walsh and Moscone.
Hey, Eddie,
Yeah, Jack?
go to Denny's. I'll call you in 5 minutes. They can't run a tap that fast.
Right.
So long, everybody.
Interior Denny's restaurant. The phone rings and the manager takes it. He hands it to Moscone, who leans next to the register.
Jack?
Intercut Walsh and Moscone.
Yeah, I need you to wire me $500 to the Western Union office in Amarillo, Texas.
What do you need with 500 on a bus? And why the hell aren't you on a plane?
Did it ever occur to you that I'm a professional and that I might have my reasons? We're driving now, and I only have enough cash to get me to Amarillo. We had to scrap the bus.
Fuck the bus. I'd like to know what happened to the forget about freaking Meshuggah up dead goddamn plane. I can't read.
He doesn't like to fly.
He doesn't like to fly? What the fuck does that mean? He's to be back here in less than 2.5 days. What the fuck are you doing out there, Jack?
Eddie, I swear to God, don't start with me now or I'll shoot him and dump him in the swamp.
Walsh shakes his head to the Duke.
I'm in no fucking mood for this. Just send me the money and I'll have him back by the deadline.
Inside Moscone's office, Moscone enters and approaches Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, wire $500 to Walsh and Amarillo, Texas.
Jerry nods and Moscone walks a few steps and turns.
Maybe you ought to see if you can't get Dorfler down there, too.
Exterior street. Once again, Jerry trots for his phone booth. Interior FBI van. For the second time, Agent 1 watches Geisler through the rear window of the van. Let's run a tap to that phone booth. Something's going on here. Exterior Oklahoma. The LTD continues its journey west. Interior LTD. Walsh and the Duke sit quietly. After a few moments, the Duke starts to sing softly.
99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer. If one of those goes
Walsh
down.
silences him with a look.
What happened to you back in Chicago? Your wife married a corrupt cop?
They're all bad.
There's a good and bad everywhere, don't you think?
There's bad everywhere. Good, I don't know about.
The Duke hits a nerve.
What happened to you?
I tried to bust this big time dealer. The guy practically supplied the whole city with heroin. I got close to him, gained his confidence. It took me a year. Just as I was ready to nail the son of a bitch, mysteriously, my fellow officers discovered 7 pounds of heroin in my house. They gave me a choice: get on the payroll like everyone else, get out of town, or go to jail for 30 years.
So you left town.
Yeah, and that's why I do this. When I find a criminal like yourself, I bring him in. I don't have to worry about anybody getting bribed or paid off because there is no anybody. There's just me.
So I guess that means that any offer I might make would be a waste of time.
Walsh's silence confirms this.
Let me ask you something. Do you miss your wife and daughter?
I don't think much about it.
There's that denial thing again.
I know in some twisted way you mean well, but will you please stay out of my personal life?
You can't just avoid the things that hurt you. You've got to attack them head on. Sooner or later, you're going to have to take a front row approach to life, Jack.
Exterior Amarillo coffee shop. The LTD rolls up to a coffee shop and Walsh and the Duke get out. Arching the kinks out of their backs, they head in. Interior coffee shop. Eggs and bacon sizzle lusciously on the hot griddle. A young ranch hand stuffs his mouth with a massive forkful of steaming hotcakes. Walsh and the Duke eye all this from their seats at the counter. A waitress approaches.
Some restaurant.
I swear a waitress approaches. I'm sure of it.
Is that me?
That's you, Miss Xanax, yeah.
What can I do for you boys?
2 coffees.
I'd prefer herbal tea. As a bounty hunter, are you licensed to starve your victims?
Look, in 10 minutes we'll have $500. I'll buy you a nice juicy steak.
I don't eat meat. It's filled with serotogens and steroids.
You know, I used to think you were a very smart guy, John. You know everything about everything. But you don't know enough to stay out of other people's business. If you had left Serrano alone, none of this would be happening to you.
I had a way out of this, Jack.
Oh, really?
I was going to pull all of the Serrano's records on computer diskettes as an insurance policy. I figured I could always trade in over in exchange for my life if things got too rough.
Why didn't you just leave him alone?
Why didn't you just ignore corruption in the police department?
Because I couldn't live with myself, that's why.
That's how I felt, Jack. I wasn't some mob accountant. I thought I worked in a legitimate firm. When I found out I was managing accounts that were really fronts for Serrano, I just couldn't sit back and do nothing.
So you decided to take what didn't belong to you.
Jack, I gave practically all of it to charity. How can you take the side of a mobster?
I'm not taking his side.
You're not taking his side if you're not taking mine.
I'm not taking anybody's side. I've got nothing to do with this.
Walsh checks his Timex.
Time to go.
Why do you wear that old watch?
I'll tell you when I know you better.
Walsh cuffs the Duke and drags him towards the door. Interior Tony and Joey's car. Tony and Joey sit in their car just up the block from the Western Union office. Tony scans the street and Joey eats some chips and drinks a Coke.
Oh, we forgot. One of those little treasures you keep in the car, so you don't spill food and drink all over the place.
Exterior Amarillo Street. Walsh and the Duke cross the street, heading for the Western Union office. Interior Tony and Joey's car. Tony spots them.
There they are.
Tony and Joey get out of the car. Exterior street. They cross the street, guns and coats, approaching Walsh and the Duke. Walsh sees them and freezes.
Don't fucking move, asshole. I don't want to kill you. I just want you.
The Duke is panic-stricken. From out of nowhere, Dorfler appears behind Tony and Joey, cocking his .45.
Drop him.
Tony and Joey turn.
You heard me. Drop him.
Tony and Joey drop their guns.
Who the fuck are you guys?
Who the fuck are you?
Dorfler
Who the
KOs
fuck are
Tony.
you?
Who the fuck are you talking to?
I asked you first.
Who the fuck?
Go on, Kaden. Cut the bed.
Don't let me interrupt you. Dorfler KOs Tony with the butt of his 45, and Tony eats the pavement.
You know what? Fucking, you know who you're fucking with? Do you know who you're fucking with? You're
No.
dead. Forget about it.
No. Why don't you tell me about it?
I'm Joey P. Pants. Bitch. Sorry. That was
Make sure you speak into the microphone.
On microphone, Dorfler whacks the butt of his 45 into Joey's mouth. Walsh and the Duke watch the scene.
Give me the keys to the cuffs.
Sure, Marvin.
Walsh takes out the keys and tosses them into the sewer.
Looks like a package deal to me, Marvin.
Front row, Jack.
All right, both of you, come on.
Exterior road outside of town. Dorfler's car makes tracks to the Amarillo countryside. Interior Dorfler's car. Dorfler at the wheel, the Duke in between him and Walsh. They're sandwiched into the front seat.
Who the hell were those guys?
Oh, Marvin, you've done it this time.
What are you talking about?
Those were hired killers back there.
Hired to kill who?
Hired to kill him.
And hired by who?
Jimmy Serrano.
Oh, fuck! Why do they want to kill him?
Marvin, don't you read the newspapers?
Damn it, Travis.
I can't take this.
How the fuck did you know where we were?
I can't take this anymore.
Shut up a minute. Did Moscone put you on this?
Of course Moscone put me on this.
That no good son of a bitch. I got a contract with him.
You got a contract?
Yeah, I signed it on Wednesday. Or Monday.
He called me in Pittsburgh. He said you were fucking this up.
I'm not fucking this up.
You should have been in LA over 2 days ago.
Don't tell me how to do my goddamn job. I'm half thinking not to turn him in just to watch Moscone go down the toilet.
It's an excellent thought.
Interior Dorfler's car. Circling once more, the chopper comes up behind them. M16s open fire and blow out the back window.
Well, this is bullshit. We're sitting ducks, Marvin. Get off the fucking road.
Interior helicopter. The three sharpshooters lean out, open fire again. Exterior bridge. A bridge spans the huge gorge, roaring rapids below. An 18-wheeler tractor trailer is approaching, and so is the helicopter. Interior Dorfler's car. They're just about to enter the bridge. Swerving, ducking bullets. The Duke sees an oncoming truck.
Look out!
Dorfler cuts the wheel. Exterior bridge. Dorfler misses the truck by a few feet. The chopper misses by inches, roars skyward. The truck nearly jackknifes trying to get out of the way, and Dorfler swerves off the road just short of the bridge. He slams through the guard railing. Dorfler's car sails down the steep embankment, sideswipes huge rocks and trees. The brush and rocks in its path don't slow the car down. Inside the car, the Duke screams. Walsh braces for the impact. Dorfler steers down the obstacle course of rocks and trees, heading for the rapids.
Okay, I got it.
Sideswipes a tree and keeps going.
Hang in. Relax. I've got it.
The car slams to a halt, wedging itself between two boulders just a few feet from the edge of the rapids. The chopper swings around over the top of the bridge. Inside the car, Dorfler's gun bounces to the floor. The Duke grabs it and points it at Walsh and Dorfler.
Nobody move.
Walsh grabs the gun out of the Duke's hand.
Give me that.
Dorfler grabs the gun.
That's mine.
Exterior, the chopper roars overhead. Bullets explode around them. The doors are blocked by the boulders. Walsh, the Duke, and Dorfler are forced to crawl out the windows, dive for cover. The chopper circles and then moves in for the kill. Inside the chopper, the sharpshooters take aim and open fire. The bullets explode around Walsh, the Duke, and Dorfler. The Duke falls, dragging Walsh with him. Dorfler fires at the helicopter with his 45. Walsh removes the keys from his pocket and starts to uncuff the Duke.
I thought you threw those out.
Just check the evidence, Marvin. Those were car keys.
The Duke begins to smile.
They're not after me.
The Duke's smile vanishes.
Just kidding.
Walsh climbs behind a group of boulders, pulls out his 45, and fires with Dorfler at the chopper. Inside the helicopter, a bullet hits the glass bubble, exploding it into the cockpit. The pilot swings the chopper away. The chopper comes around for the kill again, and the Duke tries to hide behind a huge boulder. Bullets explode all around him, and he inches around the boulder, trying to keep it between him and the chopper, each quickly changing directions to outsmart the other. A serious game of cat and mouse. The Duke loses his balance and falls backwards into the rapids. Bullets spray all around him, and he disappears into the white water. Walsh is about to jump in after him, but a hail of bullets forces him to stay put.
Son of a bitch. Well, Marvin, there goes $100 grand.
100? You're getting 100?
Why? What was Moscone going to pay you?
25.
Walsh smiles and bullets fire, they duck. Inside the helicopter, one of the sharpshooters spots the Duke, taps the pilot, and points. Water roaring, the Duke struggles to keep afloat in the nightmarish current. The chopper opens fire at him. Walsh sees the chopper's vulnerability, its tail rotor.
Marvin, give me another clip.
What? I need it myself.
Give me the fucking clip.
Dorfler hesitates, looks at the chopper, to Walsh, then tosses him the clip. Walsh jams it into his 45. Inside the helicopter, the sharpshooters riddle the water surrounding the Duke with gunfire. Walsh moves along a bank, gets to a solid line on the tail rotor, crouches, raises arms, sights in, then smiles.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Blam, 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 smack! The sting of metal hitting metal, the tail rotor explodes. Inside the helicopter, the joystick slips from the pilot's hands. With a deafening, high-pitched whine, the chopper swings madly out of control. Dorfler drops his jaw, can't believe it. Walsh grins, the chopper roars at them. They hit the deck, roars back into the sky, and starts its deadly descent toward the wall of the gorge. Heads straight for it, slams into it, explodes into a fireball, gushing flames and shrapnel for 100 yards.
God damn, Jack, you did it.
Walsh smiles and then points.
Marvin, watch out!
Walsh punches Dorfler square in the jaw. Dorfler falls back, hitting the car. Walsh digs in Dorfler's pockets and pulls out the cuffs and keys. He cuffs him to an open car door and tosses the keys into the water, and Dorfler is coming too.
See you in L.A., Marvin.
Walsh dives into the rapids. The Duke, trying to swim, grabs for debris lodged between the rocks. Stops, unsurvivable white water roars just ahead. Holding onto the debris for dear life, he pulls himself along. Slowly, surely, inches towards a boulder, Walsh comes to a bouncing down the rapids the same path the Duke has just taken. He sees the Duke pulling himself to safety, and Walsh reaches out as he passes, grabs for the same debris, and slams into it. Dislodges all of it. He and the Duke roar down the rapid together, clinging to the same log, moving onto the white water.
Damn it, I was almost safe.
They ride the log, holding on for dear life. A group of boulders are ahead. Water rushes between them. The log slams into the boulder, getting caught between two of them. Duke's back is against the current. Walsh is on the other side of the log. He's losing his grip. The rapids beyond invite death.
I'm slipping. Give me your hand.
Promise you'll let me go?
Fuck you.
Promise me?
Fuck you.
You're making it very hard for me to do the right thing here, Jack.
All right, I'll let you go. I promise.
The Duke reaches for Walsh, grabs him, and together they lunge for the boulders. The log breaks free. Disappearing into a field of white, they climb to safety. Exterior bank, afternoon. Drenched to the core, exhausted, they crawl ashore.
Where's Doffler?
He's watching the car. Thanks for saving me.
Thanks for letting me go.
I'll let you go, all right. The second you're in the L.A. County Jail.
I just saved your life.
Come on.
Exterior road. Looking like shit, Walsh and the Duke walk slowly along the side of the rural road. A dilapidated pickup truck snakes towards them, and Walsh uncuffs the Duke when it waves to a stall. Billy, an overweight Native American with a black ponytail and black cowboy hat, is at the wheel. 2 others are crammed in the front seat. 4 more sit in the bed of the truck.
How's it going, gentlemen? Do you think you can give me and my friend a ride to the nearest town?
Sure. Pile in.
Exterior gorge. We recognize the bridge. It's where the chopper went down. A dozen police cars are on it, and several cops lean over the side of the bridge. They watch a man screaming in the gorge. Handcuffed to a car is Dorfler.
That's right. Down here. Get me the fuck out of here.
Interior FBI office. Mosley sits alone, looking like he's been working long hours. Perry approaches, handing him a teletype page. This just came in.
Is it going to upset me?
I think it's safe to say that. Exterior McCarran International Airport, Las Vegas. Jets thunder overhead. Joey and Tony stand in front of the United Terminal holding their luggage. With a handkerchief, Tony nurses a huge bruise on the side of his face from the whack of Dorfler's 45. Joey sports a fat lip. Serrano's black limousine pulls up. Feels angry. A chauffeur takes their bags. Tony and Joey reluctantly get inside. Inside the limo, Serrano is back. Also Sid Lyman. They face Tony and Joey. The car moves quickly away from the terminal area, and Serrano is livid.
What's the problem with you guys? The guy's a fucking accountant.
It's been bad luck down the line. Plus, this guy Walsh is pretty good.
Well, if he's so fucking good, maybe I should hire him to hit you.
Is any of this going to come back to him?
No, none of it. We rented the chopper through Detroit.
5 times removed from you. Ow, my lip. You're clear of this. Don't worry.
I'm clear of this shit. He's still out there. Pull the fuck over and get out to the car.
Jimmy.
Shut up, Sid. Get the fuck out of the car.
The limo pulls to the side of the road. It confused Tony, and Joey sheepishly exit.
I have more fucking lines. Who would have thought? Hey, I have no interest whatsoever in seeing the two of you alive again, unless you have the accountant. You understand?
Exterior Las Vegas roadside. The limo peels away, leaving Tony and Joey in the dust.
How do we get our luggage back?
Exterior Native American reservation. The middle of nowhere. Chickens scatter, avoiding the pickup truck as it pulls up the dilapidated general store. The Native Americans pile out. Other Native Americans sit on the indoor furniture that has been left outside. An old crop duster is parked to one side of the general store. It catches the Duke's eye.
This is the end of the line.
Walsh stares at the sights.
What the hell kind of town is this?
An old Native American woman sits on the porch.
Is there a bathroom in there I could use?
She nods yes, and the Duke turns to Walsh.
Is it all right, Jack?
Go ahead.
The Duke disappears inside. Walsh studies the lonely landscape of old cars and shacks. In their native language, a few Native Americans sitting nearby are having a good laugh at the expense of Walsh's bedraggled appearance. Walsh does his best to ignore them. The sound of a large engine coming to life fills the air. Walsh, pacing along the porch, casually glances in the direction of the crop duster as it slowly starts to taxi away. His eyes widen as he realizes that the man in the open cockpit is the Duke. It appears that the Duke is not afraid of flying. The prop spins with life, and the sound of the crop duster intensifies. Walsh can't believe how badly he's been taken. As the crop duster moves away, Walsh goes berserk.
Fear of flying, you son of a bitch?
Walsh runs after the plane, sprinting the length of the reservation to catch up with the taxiing plane. The Duke swings it around for takeoff, moving towards Walsh. As it moves past him, Walsh grabs onto the wing and hoists himself along the cockpit. The plane roars with life. He reaches for the Duke, and the Duke tries to push Walsh off and maintain control at the same time.
Fear of flying, my ass. Get out of that plane, you son of a bitch.
My work is done here, Jack. I've reopened the lines of communication between you, your ex-wife, and your daughter.
I'm gonna open your fucking head.
And I think you're well and on your way to re-examining why you are as a human being.
Walsh grabs the Duke halfway out of the cockpit. The plane zigzags wildly through the field.
You're going to get us killed.
I don't give a fuck.
Walsh right hooks the Duke, knocking him out, then manages to yank him from the cockpit. They both fall to the ground. The pilotless crop duster aimlessly taxis in circles. Native Americans come running from every direction. Walsh shoves the Duke back towards the general store, and Native Americans surround them angrily. Shouting, Walsh pulls his .45 and points in every direction. It gets quiet fast.
Cut the fuck up, all of you.
He moves through the circle, dragging the Duke by his collar.
Let me tell you about the coffee shop I'm gonna open after I dump you off and collect my $100 grand. You're gonna love it. Maybe when you get out, if they don't kill you first, you can come pay me a visit.
They approach Billy's pickup truck. Walsh points a gun at Billy.
Give me the keys to the truck.
You just can't take their truck.
You were about to take their plane.
Walsh pulls the Duke's watch off his wrist and tosses it to Billy. Billy complies, and Walsh takes the keys and cuffs the Duke inside the truck.
Hey, maybe I'll even call it Duke's place, out of respect to you.
Walsh gets in behind the wheel, fires it up, and roars off. Exterior road. The truck barrels down the road. Inside the truck, Walsh sits behind the wheel, angry, the Duke at his side.
Jack, let's be fair about this. You lied to me too. At the river, you promised to let me go.
You lied to me first.
Yes, but the river was before you knew I had to lie to you, so that really doesn't count. Don't you think, Jack?
What?
It's wrong that I lied to you, but you had no knowledge that I was lying about my aviophobia when we were in the river, when you lied to me.
I can't even argue with you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
The town is up ahead, and Walsh is gripping his stomach.
Shit.
Have you got any ulcer, Jack?
Yeah, I've got an ulcer, a big fucking ulcer, and all your bullshit is starting to make it bleed again.
Touche. We better get something to coat it.
I need something to eat. That's what I need.
I can take care of that.
Exterior Red's Corner Bar. The truck slows to a stop. Inside the truck, Walsh looks at the bar and looks at Duke.
Now what?
Give me that FBI badge.
Walsh hesitates.
Do you want to eat that shit? Do you want to eat that shit you eat or not?
Walsh studies him for a moment.
You fuck with me.
Yeah, you'll hit me in the head and drop me in a thing that hurts really bad.
Interior Red's Corner Bar. The Duke bursts into the front door, followed by Walsh, and makes his way to the cashier. The Duke speaks with urgency.
I want to speak to the manager immediately. Hello.
All right, just a minute, sir. Jesus, keep your panties on.
He calls over the manager. Walsh and the Duke lock eyes.
May I help you?
Alonzo Mosley, FBI. My partner and I have been tracking a ring of counterfeiters who have been passing phony $100 bills throughout the state. Have you received any $100 bills in the last couple of hours?
I received one just 20 minutes ago.
Ooh, would you mind opening the register, please?
The manager gives a nod of approval, and the cashier complies.
Let me see all of them.
She reaches for the bills, and the Duke stops her.
No. Don't touch them.
Walsh uses a paper napkin to take the bills from the cash register. The Duke clears the counter and proceeds to lay the bills out methodically. The employees look on attentively.
Give me that pencil. Contract 2.
The cashier hands her pencil to the Duke, and he slides the bills and pencil over to Walsh.
Check all of these.
Walsh does a series of tests on the bills, erasing, holding bills up to the light, and occasionally making eye contact with the Duke.
How are you doing?
This one's bad.
Walsh puts it aside. The manager eyeballs their attire.
You guys look like you've been through the ringer.
You don't know the half of it. Yeah, this one's bad too.
The Duke speaks with great urgency again.
I want you to describe exactly what the person who handed you this bill looked like.
It was a man about 30, tall.
Oh, yeah, about 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
What color hair?
brown.
Sounds like our man.
I want to call all the other restaurants in the area and advise them of the situation. If we move fast, we might be able to nail him. We have to take this for evidence. Make sure you get a receipt for this.
Walsh scribbles a bogus receipt on a scratch pad next to the register and hands it to the manager.
It's
What's
as good
the
as
name of your
gold.
establishment?
Red's Corner Bar.
Do you dye your hair?
No.
Why do they call you Red?
Short for Redwood.
What's your first name?
Bill.
We'll be back. Thanks for your cooperation, Bill.
Exterior bar. Walsh and the Duke strain to maintain their poise as they exit the Howard Johnsons and hurry across the street into the 7-Eleven. Exterior 7-Eleven. Walsh and the Duke can be seen through the windows inside the store. In the middle of a shopping spree, Walsh stuffs his face and goes for sandwiches, beer, donuts, etc. The Duke goes for fruit and cereal. They pay for their goods. Exit. As they walk down the street, they rip into the bags like hungry dogs. They hear the ringing of the railroad crossing. Down the street, a freight train blows the whistle as it rumbles through the center of town at 15 miles per hour.
Come on, we're catching this train.
Walsh shoves the Duke. Both carry their bags of food.
I can't do this.
Yeah, you also couldn't fly.
They
Start
run
running.
alongside the open boxcar. Exterior Red's Corner Bar. With a perplexed look, Red watches through the window as the two FBI agents run for the freight train. Exterior train tracks. The Duke tosses a bag of food into it and then hoists himself aboard. Walsh starts to lose his footing. He drops all of his food. Beer explodes. Donuts and sandwiches go flying.
Ah, shit.
Exterior bar. Somewhat confused, Red turns and goes inside. He picks up a telephone and dials. Exterior train tracks. The train starts picking up speed. Walsh can't keep up with the car. The Duke does nothing to help. He just crouches and watches from the open boxcar.
Give me a hand.
Do you promise to let me go?
God damn it, give me a
The
hand.
Duke doesn't budge.
See you in the next life, Jack.
Walsh reaches out and manages to grab a ladder on the side of the car and hoists himself aboard. Exterior train cars. Walsh stretches toward the boxcar's open door. The Duke slams it shut, and Walsh starts banging on the door.
You son of a bitch! You're gonna have to come out of there sometime. I'm gonna be waiting here.
The train starts picking up speed, and Walsh is getting unnerved.
You're only making it harder on yourself, making me stay out here.
After a few expectant beats, the large door slowly slides open, revealing an angel-eyed Duke. Walsh reaches into the car and pulls himself inside. Inside the boxcar, Walsh is completely out of breath. The boxcar is near empty. As Walsh dusts himself off, the Duke sits on a couple of small, flimsy crates stacked against the wall. Walsh walks over next to him and kicks the bottom crate out with a powerful sideswipe. The Duke and the crates crash to the floor.
And don't you forget it.
Walsh walks over to the far end of the boxcar and sits quietly, stares down at the Duke from across the car.
I ain't talking to you for the rest of this trip.
That's adolescent, don't you think, Jack?
Interior Amarillo Police Station interrogation room. Dorfler sits at a small desk in the naked room. He's tired, dirty, and nervous, chain smoking. A sheriff and 2 cops enter and Dorfler rises.
Hey, you guys gonna let me go? I'm telling you, I don't know anything.
Mosley enters, followed by Perry, Tuttle, and Plumitz.
Is that a fact?
Oh, shit.
Mosley grabs Dorfler's pack of cigarettes, takes one, lights it, and pockets the rest.
Yeah, help yourself.
Where are they?
You got me.
Mosley turns and kicks the chair out from under Dorfler. Dorfler hits the floor, and Perry lurches forward. Inspector.
Shut up!
Mosley picks up Dorfler and tosses him at the table. Breaking it, Dorfler rolls on the floor.
I want some answers, and I want them now.
Mosley picks up Dorfler, grabs the chair, and shoves him into it. A sheriff enters and whispers something to Tuttle.
I don't know nothing. They went down the river. They could be dead for all I know.
Tuttle meekly approaches Mosley.
Sir,
What?
it seems that an agent Alonzo Mosley and his partner were seen hopping a westbound freight train near Channing.
Exterior prairie night. The freight train barrels through the moonlit night. Interior boxcar, still at opposite ends of the car. Walsh and the Duke are curled up trying to resist the cold.
Jack. What?
Walsh looks over at the Duke, trying to ignore him.
How much further do you think we have to go? None of your fucking business.
Jack stays silent and looks contemplative.
Well, because eventually I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. Shut the fuck up.
Still nothing from Walsh.
Did you ever have sex with an animal, Jack? Remember those chickens around the Indian reservation? There were some good-looking chickens there, Jack. Between us.
Yeah, there were a couple that I might have taken a shot at.
Walsh and the Duke share a genuine laugh together. Walsh looks at his watch.
That what's with you in that watch? You told me you get to know me better. You told me about your feelings for chickens. I mean, how private could the watch be? What's the big secret?
Gail bought me this. It was the first thing she ever got me. I was always a half hour late when we were dating, so she bought me this watch and set it a half an hour fast so I'd never be late.
The Duke is silent.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, I still imagine that we're going to end up together. I'm still waiting, hanging on.
I don't think she's coming back.
Yeah, I don't either.
Sometimes you just have to let it go. Just get yourself a new watch.
Walsh looks over at the Duke and nods silently.
You're okay, Jack. I think under different circumstances.
Walsh looks over at the Duke.
You and I, yeah, woo, probably still wouldn't have hated each other.
Duke and Walsh both laugh together again. It's real and genuine.
Yeah, we probably could have been friends.
In the next life.
Yeah, the next life.
Yeah.
Interior front desk, Amarillo Police Station. Dorfler is handed his belongings in a paper bag by a desk sergeant.
Yeah, accommodations were wonderful. You got a cigarette?
Don't smoke.
That Fed took my cigarettes. Where did everybody go?
It took off. You want your cigarettes? You have to go to Flagstaff, because that's where your pal Mosley went. Dorfler laughs with him.
I just might do that.
Exterior Mountain Railroad tracks, Arizona, dawn. The train moves through the Arizona desert. The sun is just peeking over the distant mountains. The landscape is bathed in a deep red hue. Interior boxcar. Walsh is crouched in the open doorway, smoking. Looking at the sun, he flicks his cigarette butt into the wind. Walsh turns, notices that the Duke is setting up his breakfast. He tears open the paper bag and uses it as a placemat. He lays out fruit and a box of high-fiber cereal, a quart of non-fat milk.
Jack, would you care to breakfast with me?
The Duke pulls out some packaged cakes.
I think these are yours. Anyway, Jack, I know I didn't buy any ho-hos or Suzy Q's.
Walsh looks at the Duke's bruised face.
I'm sorry I hit you.
The Duke shrugs it off, and Walsh moves next to him. The Duke hands him the cakes.
Do you know where we're at?
We've been going west all night. My guess is Arizona. We're almost home.
I'm almost dead.
The witness protection program isn't so bad. They'll give you a new name. You'll have a new life.
Jack, do me a favor, okay? Don't play this big brother routine with me because it really insults my intelligence. The only thing important to you about me is getting your money.
You know, I'm tired of you making me out to be some kind of thug whose only concern is a big chunk of change. Did you know that Serrano's people offered me $1 million for you?
Why don't you just go for the big money, Jack? You're doing his work for him either way.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The reason I do this shit is because I didn't want to work for that lowlife. You remember that big dealer I was trying to bring down in Chicago? That was Serrano, all right? Now you know everything. Are you happy?
He's the reason you left Chicago, and you're taking me in. Are you out of your mind? You want me to speak your language, Jack? You let that motherfucker beat you with what you know about police work and what I know about Serrano's operation. We should be able to put him away for 30 years.
I'm not in that business anymore.
I'm a goddamn accountant, and I tried to get him. You're this big macho guy with your guns and all your bullshit, and you're backing away.
Walsh opens himself up like he never has before.
I just don't have it in me.
I hope it's a wonderful coffee shop, Jack.
Exterior boxcar, later. The city of Flagstaff is in the distance. The train begins to slow down, and Walsh leans out of the car, eyeballing it.
We're getting off here, just in case.
They both get up and wait for the right moment.
You first, wise guy.
The Duke jumps, and Walsh follows. They tumble through the high grass and roll to a stop. Endless boxcars thunder past them. Interior Flagstaff train depot. A few minutes later, a train is now stationary. The door is swung open, hard. Series of cuts of boxcars being opened one after another. Feds and cops are all over the train in greater numbers than ever before. Mosley's car pulls up. He gets out. Perry, Tuttle, and Plumets follow suit. Mosley approaches the Flagstaff police captain.
Inspector Mosley, find anything?
Not yet.
Mosley walks away with determination, and his men follow. They could have jumped off the train along anywhere along the line.
Walsh isn't playing with a lot of time. He took this train as far as he could.
Exterior Dorfler's car. Dorfler cruises over a bridge. Below him is the train depot. He slows and spots the slew of police cars below him and watches as they continue conducting the search of boxcars. Exterior grocery store parking lot. Some pickup trucks with Arizona plates. Walsh and the Duke are cuffed again. Sneaking along, they approach the Jeep CJ7 decked for off-road use.
Arizona plates. Do I know my shit or what?
Walsh moves around to the passenger side of the Jeep. The door is unlocked and he opens it. Inside the Jeep, he proceeds to hotwire the vehicle. The engine cranks and fires. Walsh pushes the Duke across the passenger side, cuffs him to the roll bar, and hops in. In the parking lot, Walsh roars away. The owner of the Jeep exits the store. His jaw drops as his Jeep passes him and tears off down the road. Inside the Jeep, Walsh tools down the road, the Duke staring ahead. An occasional building passes by as they move to the outskirts of town. Fields and mountains ahead.
Where are we going?
To the next fucking airport.
A police car comes up behind him and hits his lights. Sirens starts coming fast.
Shit.
Walsh jams it. The truck lurches with life. Suddenly, a second police car is moving like a bat out of hell from the opposite direction. Sirens wailing, lights blazing.
You're not going to be happy until you get us both killed.
I came too far. I'm too close.
On the road, a cop car ahead skids to a stop, blocking the road. Walsh screams off the pavement. Driving onto the shoulder, clods of earth kick up. Walsh scrapes the cop car and moves right back onto the road. The car chasing Walsh tries the same trick. Doesn't make it. Smacks hard with the police car blocking the road. Exterior Flagstaff train depot. Cops, feds, everyone is running for their cars. Cars screech out in all directions. The police captain runs up to Mosley, Perry, Tuttle, and Plumage.
Follow me to the chopper.
Exterior Dorfler's car. From the bridge, Dorfler watches the excitement unfold. He smiles, knowing that Walsh and the Duke must be nearby. He gets back into his car and follows the procession of speeding police and federal cars. Inside the Jeep, Walsh has got it to the floor. They move more and more into the country. Dirt roads cross the plains.
How many fucking cops can they have in this town?
Walsh checks the rearview mirror. More than a dozen police and federal cars are behind them. The Duke notices several police cars roaring down the dirt road to their right. Walsh turns, at least a dozen more on his left. They seem to be coming from everywhere. On the road, Walsh tears by. The cop cars from the right and left sides converge into Walsh's road. The two dented cop cars from behind come up in fast pursuit. It's a carnival of sirens and blazing lights. Inside the Jeep,
I know you can do it, Jack.
Walsh spots the worst sight yet, a slew of federal cars coming at him from ahead. He's surrounded. There's no way he's getting around this. He turns the wheel hard. Exterior field. The Jeep skids off the road, smashes through fence posts, rips into the field, jumps a hill, lands and keeps going. The cops and feds swerve off the road in pursuit. On the road, Dorfler slows as his car passes the spot where Walsh crashed through the fence. The place is crawling with cops and feds. Cautious not to be observed, he keeps moving. In the field, Walsh shifts it into four-wheel drive, slams up a hill. Missing trees, rocks, the cop cars can't keep up. A helicopter roars overhead. Inside the helicopter, Mosley sits alongside the pilot, looking down at the terrain with binoculars. Behind him sits Perry, Tuttle, and Plumage. Below, the fields are filled with a tangle of police and federal cars. The hill approaches. Mosley taps on the pilot.
Hey, check the other side.
Exterior hill. The Jeep roars over the peak, starts bouncing down the other side. It's very steep. Plowing through brush, picking up speed, a group of farmhouses are clustered below. Inside Dorfler's car, he follows the chopper with his eyes as it heads for a group of hills. The chopper obviously has an overview, so Dorfler decides to follow it. On the farm road, Dorfler makes a turn into the dirt road, roaring past the group of farmhouses. He slows, checks the position of the helicopter, and keeps moving. Inside the Jeep, coming down a hill, Walsh realizes he's not going to make it. He loses control of the Jeep. The Jeep skids, slams sideways into a group of trees, and Walsh climbs out. Uncuffs the Duke from the roll bar. They start running for the farmhouses. The chopper is coming, and they drop into the high grass. The chopper moves past them back towards the hill. Inside the helicopter, Mosley, with eagle eyes, spots something. Mosley spots something.
My eyes aren't so eagerly, but there's the Jeep.
It's nearly buried in trees and brush.
Try the farm, close to the ground.
On the road, the chopper moves towards the farmhouses. Walsh and the Duke move through the high grass and a thicket of trees on the roadside. Two federal cars roar past them, followed by two local cop cars. Walsh's eyes sweep the road, and next is a passenger car. One person at the wheel, Walsh grabs his .45. He runs into the road, flags down the car, and the Duke recognizes the driver.
Jack. Don't. It's Dorfler.
Inside Dorfler's car, Dorfler's at the wheel, and he can't believe what he sees. There's a god. There is a god.
No. Am I lucky or am I just good? Fucking A, I'm the best!
He floors it, heads for Walsh, and opens the car door. Whacks him. Walsh bounces to the concrete, and Dorfler gets out. The Duke starts running for the woods. Exterior creek. It looks like paradise. A trickling creek, surrounded by aspens, sunlight streaming down. The Duke slides down the embankment and splashes through the creek, and Dorfler follows him. Chasing hard, tackles him, lands several punches. The Duke swings back. Dorfler overpowers him and pins him to the creek. He lands several more punches and yanks him to his feet. Walsh is slowly coming around, winded, bruised. Dorfler yanks the Duke up the embankment across the road, quickly opens the trunk and shoves the Duke inside. He slams the trunk closed. An uncomprehending Walsh takes a feeble swing at Dorfler. Dorfler right hooks Walsh. Walsh stumbles and Dorfler hits him again. Walsh falls backwards several feet over the embankment. Walsh tumbles down the embankment to the banks of the creek. He's out cold. Dorfler can be heard screeching away in the car, and Walsh is still. The continuous roar of the chopper seems to fade away. He slowly comes to, looks at the creek before him, slightly confounded at finding himself in such a heavenly setting. He stares at clear water trickling over rocks and stone. Exterior diner, a gentle cut, peaceful, almost dreamlike. Wind gently rocks the eat sign. Its rusty hinges squeak. The dirt parking lot is empty. Walsh moves to the road, approaches the diner. Inside the diner, Walsh enters, dirty, ragged. The owner, a quiet, matronly woman, is behind the counter. Walsh moves over to her and she barely moves, just checks him out. Bad day, huh?
Bad week.
I know what you mean.
I could use a cup of coffee.
I think I could arrange that. He achingly sits at the counter, and the diner owner places a mug before Walsh, pours coffee, and Walsh nods his thanks. It picks up the mud and blows on it gently. It's about to take a sip. Suddenly, a pair of sunglasses slides the length of the counter, coming to rest in front of Walsh. He doesn't budge. He just stares at them. He puts down the mug and picks up the sunglasses. He knows what's coming without looking. He looks anyway. Standing at the end of the counter is Mosley.
I've been looking all over for these.
Walsh turns. Through the window, in the lot, are 20 police cars. Federal cars, lights turning, police radios gently blabbering. Exterior Flagstaff Airport. Dorfler and the Duke pull up at the small airport. Inside Dorfler's car, the Duke eyes the planes on the runway and turns to Dorfler.
I can't do this. I have a very serious fear of flying.
Without losing a beat, Dorfler right hooks the Duke. Inside the interrogation room, Flagstaff Police Department. Walsh is in the hot seat, smoking. Mosley sits opposite him. Perry, Tuttle, and Plumid stand around Walsh, also several high-ranking local cops. Walsh glances at his watch. It's 6:45.
Forget about the time clock, Walsh. It's over. That's how that one went.
Look, I know my rights. You owe me some phone calls.
What should be of paramount importance to you right now is the 10 years you're going to get for impersonating a federal agent.
Wow, 10 years for impersonating a Fed. How come no one's after you?
You don't know when to quit.
I know one thing. I know my rights. And by law, you owe me phone calls. I ain't saying shit till I get
Mosley
them.
gives in.
Give him his calls.
Perry and 2 local cops escort Walsh out of the room. Interior squad room, Flagstaff Police Station. Crowded with cops and feds, Walsh dials and waits. Interior Moscone's office. Jerry grabs the phone.
Eddie Moscone, bail bondsman.
Intercut Walsh and Moscone.
Yeah, it's Walsh. Give me my scone.
Jerry nearly drops the phone. He turns.
Eddie, pick it up. It's Jack.
Moscone rushes for the phone, picks it up, nervous as hell. Jerry Lynch listens to the extension as usual.
I hope you're getting close because you've only got 5. Forget about it, hours.
Yeah, no, I'm not, Eddie, but I'm calling to let you know that you're a dead man, you lying son of a bitch. You put Dorfler on this fucking thing.
Moscone's nervousness turns to rage.
Well, I should fucking kill you, you stupid son of a bitch. You had a guy 5 days ago. What the hell are you joyriding across country for? You Thelma and Louise in this bitch? And now you nuts telling Dorfler that I was giving you 100 grand when I offered him 25? He just called me up yelling and screaming. And why the hell can't you get the Duke here in 5 hours?
When did you speak to Dorfler?
Well, 5 fucking minutes ago. He told me to go fuck myself. The hell difference does it make?
Resume Walsh. Moscone continues
Forget
yelling.
about it.
Walsh slowly lowers
Blah,
the phone.
Forget about it.
hanging it up on Moscone. He thinks, it doesn't make sense. His wheels are turning, and then he quickly reaches into his wallet, pulls out a slip of paper that Tony and Joey gave him in New York. The card is stained from the adventure in the rapids. Numbers have faded, but it's still there. Walsh dials it. It's 1,000,000 to 1 shot. Someone picks up on the other end.
Hello?
Yeah, is Tony or Joey there?
Who's this?
Walsh thinks for a second. It's 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
Dorfler.
The voice relaxes.
Sure, Marvin. Hang on. I'm gonna forward your call.
Walsh's heart rate goes up. Dorfler's gone dirty. Interior Vegas hotel room. Joey picks up the phone.
Marvin?
Intercut as needed. Walsh's eyes widen. He recognizes the voice.
No, it's Jack Walsh. So Dorfler's working for you guys now.
Blah, blah, blah. What are you complaining for? We came to you first.
Tony comes out of the bathroom. Joey turns and covers the phone.
It's Jack Walsh.
Tony takes the phone.
Hey, too late, scumbag.
No, too late for you. I didn't come this far not to collect my money. I want the Duke back.
So what the fuck are you telling me for?
What am I telling you for? Because I've got some of the Duke's belongings, that's why, including some computer disks that have every last detail of Serrano's businesses and money laundering operations, and if I don't get him back in the next 2 hours, I'm going to turn them over to the feds.
I'll blow your fucking brains out.
How are you going to do that from jail?
Tony doesn't answer.
You tell Serrano I want to meet him with the Duke alone in 2 hours in the main terminal of McCarran Airport where we'll make the exchange. I know he's the only one of you guys who won't try to take a shot at me in a public place. If I see one single goon within a mile of that airport, the deal is off and I'm going to the feds.
I ain't gonna tell him that.
Fine, after he's busted, I'll make sure to tell him you knew about it beforehand. That's 2 hours from now. Main terminal, McCarran Airport. You got that, moron? Have a nice day.
Walsh hangs up, wondering how he's going to dig himself out of this. The sounds of the police station come back to him. He turns and locks eyes with Perry. What was that?
Where's Mosley? I want to make a deal.
Inspector! Mosley moves through the cops and comes up to Walsh.
Alonzo, can you hear me?
Sorry, my buttons keep sticking. You want to make a deal with me?
Yeah, what would you do if I could deliver you Serrano?
What do you mean, deliver?
Well, for starters, conspiracy to destroy government evidence.
What government evidence?
Would you let me take the Duke in myself and collect my money?
Mosley can see that Walsh is serious.
Tell me more.
Well, I'll have to tell you on the way because we've got to be in Las Vegas in 2 hours.
Exterior Golden Boy Motel. Dorfler scurries with a newspaper and paper bag toward the motel. Interior room of the Golden Boy Motel. Dorfler enters, tears open the bag, opens a package containing a new Polaroid camera, slams in package of film and flashbulbs. With a newspaper under his arm, he heads for the bathroom. Interior bathroom. The Duke is cuffed in the pipe under the sink. Dorfler forces the Duke to hold up the paper.
Hold that up so they'll know that I took these today. See? I got it all figured out. Say cheese.
Dorfler starts snapping off pictures.
Don't do this, Marvin.
Dorfler scoops up the images off the tile floor and they're coming to life. He pockets them.
Adios.
Dorfler exits. The Duke can hear him leave. Exterior Gulfstream jet. The FBI Gulfstream jet flies above the desert bathed in moonlight. Inside the jet, Mosley and his men listen to Walsh. Oh, that's me. I forgot I was Perry. Sorry. If he takes those discs, even though they're blank, that's the overt act, correct? Mosley's about to answer and Walsh cuts him off.
He just sets foot in that airport. He's committed an overt act, conspiracy to obstruct justice.
The agents listen attentively.
If he shows up with the Duke, you can add kidnapping. If he shows up with anyone packing a gun, you can add conspiracy to commit murder. The fact that it's an airport, Alonzo, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, you can slap an ITAR rap on him as well.
Do you think he'll show?
Well, he'll show. He's got no choice.
Mosley is impressed.
Get a wire on this man.
Exterior parking lot. The lights of Las Vegas twinkle in the distance. Dorfler's car swings into the lot. He looks around, still sporting their bruises. Tony and Joey get out of their car and move towards him.
Marvin?
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm sorry about what happened back at the Western Union office. You can imagine my embarrassment when I found out who you were. I didn't mean to hit you. It was just one of those things, you know, like a spur of the moment. You know, I never pull any shit like that.
The fuck took you?
I made a quick stop.
Where is he?
Where's my money?
It's in the car. Where is he?
Slight change of plans. Now I want $2 million. I read the newspapers, this guy got you for $15 million. So I figured he's got to be worth at least 2 to you. You can't play me for a chump.
How do we know you got him?
Orfler reaches into his shirt pocket, hands over the Polaroids. Tony starts slipping through them, and Joey leans in.
Million now, then I'll call you in 20 minutes. Then tell you where to drop off the second million. Once I know it's there, I tell you where he is.
Tony stops flipping through the photos and pushes Joey aside.
Okay?
Not okay.
Why not?
Tony rears back, and bam! Marvin is out cold.
What the fuck? Are you fucking nuts? What's Jimmy gonna say? How the fuck are we gonna get that Duke now?
You got the answer right in your hands.
What are you talking about?
Tony shows the Polaroids to Joey.
Joey, when are you going to learn how to pay attention?
Insert Polaroid. The Duke is cuffed to the sink, holding the newspaper. Several motel towels with the Golden Boy logo decorate the bathroom.
Look, see what it says there.
Tony and Joey head back for their car. Interior Serrano's penthouse. Serrano gives instructions to a few bodyguards, and Lyman paces nervously.
Hey, I want 10 of our best people, and I don't want any fuck-ups this time, okay? As soon as they get a hold of these things, I want them both dropped.
I don't think you should do this.
A bodyguard helps Serrano with his coat.
Oh, you don't? What do you propose I do?
Send somebody with a cash offer. Give this guy whatever the hell he wants, but don't do this.
Walsh won't take any money from me. He knows I come and get it an hour later. In his mind, this is clean. He gets what he wants. I get what I want. The guy's a fucking burnout. He just wants his money.
Jimmy, listen.
Serrano turns and heads for the door with his goons.
Sydney, sit down, relax. Have a sandwich, drink a glass of milk. Do some fucking thing.
Interior Starlight Casino garage. The elevator doors open to reveal Serrano. The 4 bodyguards are with him. They move with purpose, almost in step, heading for Serrano's limousine. The FBI agents watch them as they pass, and then one agent turns, picking up a walkie-talkie.
He's on his way.
Serrano's limousine pulls out and moves up to street level. Exterior Vegas Strip. The limousine moves into traffic, and suddenly 2 FBI cars, one parked at the curb, the other in the front of the casino, come to life and move off in pursuit. As Serrano's limousine passes across street, another FBI car makes a U-turn as if from nowhere and joins in the surveillance. Interior FBI car. 4 agents. One speaks into the radio.
We're on him.
Interior Gulfstream jet. They approach the lights of Vegas. Everyone is strapping in. Perry is checking the wire Walsh is wearing. Plumage lights Walsh's cigarette, and Mosley talks into a speakerphone.
This is Mosley.
Serrano's just left and is heading west on Vegas Boulevard.
Walsh smiles, and Mosley notices.
Why are you smiling?
I feel like a cop again.
In exterior jet. The Gulfstream jet touches down and thunders towards the far end of the airport, roaring to a stop. Mosley, Perry, Tuttle, Plumage, and Walsh descend the steps of the Gulfstream jet. Several FBI and police cars are discreetly parked nearby. Walsh is directed by the agents toward the main terminal. Exterior airport. Serrano's limo pulls up in front, followed by the FBI cars, which duck out of sight. Serrano gets out of his limo and walks to the other limo, parked at the curb. Serrano gets in. Inside the limo, Serrano gets into the limo. Inside are the Duke, Tony, and Joey. Serrano leans back and smiles at the Duke.
So we finally meet. I'm in the presence of greatness. The Duke. The man who robs from the scum of the earth and then gives to the unfortunates of the world. I wanted to meet you face to face.
Serrano leans forward.
Did you actually think that you were going to steal my money and get away with it? I stopped by here to tell you 2 things. Number 1, is that you're going to die tonight. Number 2, I'm not going to go home. I'm sorry, I'm going to go home. I'm going to have a nice hot meal, and then I'll find your wife, and I'm going to kill her too.
Serrano leans in and smacks the Duke across the face. Exterior limo. Some of the Serrano's thugs hover around the limo, and Serrano and Joey get out of the limo.
Hey, Joey, stay here, wait for my call. The rest of you can come with me.
Interior terminal. Walsh walks through the crowded terminal. He moves from one of the arms of the McCarran to the gorgeous glass main terminal. His eyes scan the place, no agents in sight. No sign of Serrano or the Duke. Walsh crosses the terminal, heading for the center where he can be clearly seen. A few of Serrano's bodyguards enter, glance at Walsh, fan out into the crowd. Walsh pulls the last cigarette out of the pack and lights it. Interior terminal balcony night. Agent Mosley and the other FBI agents look through the binoculars, down at Walsh. They also listen into the wire. Suddenly, Serrano comes into sight of one of the FBI agents.
Here he comes.
Interior terminal. Walsh stops in his tracks as he sees Serrano walking towards him. Serrano looks at Walsh's ragged appearance.
Hey, Jack. Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see.
I see you're still spending all your money on clothes.
Yeah, well, you know.
Listen, while you're in town, you'll want to see a show or a free meal or something like that. You just let me know. On me. That's just the type of gal I am.
You're a real sport.
Interior terminal balcony. Mosley and the other agents continue watching Walsh and Serrano.
Just give him the discs.
Interior terminal.
How's your mother?
She's all right.
Daughter's getting big, growing up and all, huh? Huh?
Walsh nods his head and stares at Serrano.
You know, I was thinking maybe if we'd done business way back when, you wouldn't look like a guy with a fucking cup on your hand.
Just trying to make a living.
Oh, you got the disc when you lose them too. Like your job.
Interior terminal balcony.
Give him the discs, Walsh.
Interior terminal.
Well, I see you, but I don't see the Duke.
Well, worry about him in a minute.
No, we have to worry about him now. This isn't a fucking reunion. If I don't see him in 5 seconds, I'm walking.
You're still way too serious. Why don't we take a walk together? Get to know him.
Yeah, fuck you. See you at the arraignment.
All
Jack
right,
starts to walk and
Jack.
Serrano calls out to him. Serrano
Hold
nods
up.
to a
You win.
Serrano nods to a gun by the phone. The goon nods back and places a call. Walsh is pissed.
I said no goons.
Don't worry about him. You're gonna get what you want.
Angle on the counter. Dorfler, complete with a black eye, moves up to the counter.
One-way ticket to L.A.
Smoking or non-smoking? Dorfler lights up a cigarette and blows smoke at the clerk.
Take a wild guess.
Suddenly, Dorfler turns and spots Tony and Joey walking right past him with the Duke. Dorfler does a double take. He grabs his .45 out of his duffel bag and puts it in his pocket and moves after them. Interior terminal balcony. Perry sees Dorfler coming. Ah, shit. Now Mosley sees Dorfler coming.
I'm gonna have a heart attack before this is over.
Interior terminal. Tony and Joey appear with the Duke. Walsh motions for the Duke to get behind him.
Give me the discs.
Dorfler appears.
Oh, fuck. Marvin, take a hike.
No way.
Dorfler pulls out the .45 and begins tugging at the Duke.
You're missing the bigger picture here, Marvin.
Dorfler grabs at Walsh. Interior terminal balcony. Walsh's wire goes dead. Agent Tuttle looks up.
The wire's gone dead.
Interior terminal. Serrano grabs the disc and moves off with Tony and Joey. The goons begin to approach. They're all clearly armed. Walsh sees them coming.
Marvin, watch out. Watch out.
I'm not falling for that shit again.
You look out.
Walsh leans into his jacket.
He's got the discs. He's got the discs.
Walsh turns into the balcony and yells out.
Serrano's got the disc. Serrano's got the disc.
Feds move in from everywhere. They grab Serrano, Tony, Joey, and Dorfler. There are nearly 100 federal agents that continue swarming in. Walsh moves over to Serrano with a big smile.
You know, there's something I've been wanting to say to you for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah? What's that?
You're under arrest.
Mosley appears with Perry and Tuttle.
Still have a deal, Alonzo?
We have a deal.
Dorfler is being taken away by the feds, and he shouts out.
Why does he get special treatment?
See you in LA, Marvin.
Bunch of cigarettes with this guy, Jack.
Dorfler is taken away. Walsh cuffs the Duke.
What are you doing?
We still got an hour and a half to get you to LA.
Walsh leads the uncomprehending Duke away through the crowd of federal agents and spectators. Interior 727 jet. Walsh and the Duke, both deep in thought, sit quietly as the plane approaches LA. Point of view of the 727, the Los Angeles skyline beckons. The runway lights are approaching. It has a dreamlike quality. Jet engines whine. The runway swallows up the screen. The plane touches down. Interior Western Airlines terminal. Looking like the absolute ends of the earth, Walsh and the Duke shuffle out of the boarding ramp to the upstairs terminal. Walsh slips the cuffs around Duke's wrist. They cross the terminal and move quietly. Interior downstairs terminal. Walsh and the Duke ride the escalator down. They move towards the front door. Walsh stops near a bank of payphones and turns to the Duke.
When I took this job, I figured I'd never make it, not in a million years, but for $100 grand, I had to give it a try. If you had your way, what would you do? Where would you go?
Mexico. Call Dana, my wife. Have her collect whatever money we've got stashed. Meet me in Mazatlan. Yeah. Nobody would bother us and we'd live well down there.
Drink margaritas and watch the sun go down.
Every single night.
Walsh starts to punch a number into a payphone.
That coffee shop would have been nice.
Interior Moscone's office. The phone is ringing and Moscone picks up. He is alone.
Eddie, you there?
Moscone picks up.
Sorry, I was too busy talking to this forget about it Meshuggah in the chat. Eddie Moscone, bail bondsman.
Intercut Walsh and Moscone.
Hey, Eddie, where's Jerry?
Feds picked him up 20 minutes ago.
What for?
What's the difference? I never trusted that guy. Where the hell are you? Now my
I'm in LA
accent
with the
machine is
Duke.
broken.
You want to say hello?
Walsh puts the phone to the Duke's face.
Hello.
Yeah, now say goodbye, you lying piece of shit, because I'm letting him go.
Walsh hangs up.
Forget about it.
The terminal vibrates with the sound of a jet thundering down. Walsh unlocks the cuffs.
May your footsteps be heard in heaven before the devil knows you're gone.
I don't get it.
I did what I wanted to do. I got you to LA before midnight.
The Duke looks deeply at Walsh. A lot is said in silence.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Knowing you, you'll make me want to put those back on you again. Get out of here before I change my mind.
Thank you.
No, John, thank you.
Walsh turns and starts walking. He gets a few steps towards the door. He stops, turns, and looks back at the Duke, who's still standing in the terminal. Walsh starts walking back to him with a smile. He takes the Duke's hand. It appears as if he's going to cuff the Duke again. He does, with his battered Timex.
Something to remember our adventure by.
The Duke strokes the watch and smiles.
I'll treasure it. I've got a gift for you too, Jack.
This better be good.
This is good. This is very good.
The Duke unbuttons his suit jacket. Welsh squints. He's confused. The Duke unbuttons 2 buttons on his shirt and reaches underneath, unstraps something. He pulls out an odd-looking belt and hands it to Walsh.
What's that?
When we first met, I was packing to make my getaway because I thought the FBI was closing in, so I took a little traveling money.
It's a money belt. Walsh takes it slowly. He's slow to understand. He opens a compartment. $1,000 bills are stacked tightly.
You son of a bitch.
I told you I had money.
I know you had money. I didn't know you had money.
It's not a payoff, it's a gift. You already let me go.
Walsh smiles and wiggles the belt.
How much is here?
In the neighborhood of 300,000.
That's a very respectable neighborhood. I don't know what to say, John.
Take care, Jack. If you're ever in Mazatlan.
Yeah, John, I'll look you up. Just get rid of that dog of yours.
See you in the next life.
Yeah, see you in the next life.
See you in the next life.
They shake hands. Walsh turns, walks out of the terminal quickly. The Duke watches him go and then disappears in another part of the terminal. Exterior Western Airlines terminal. Money belt in hand, Walsh steps outside, takes the night air. He walks past a large clock. It reads 11:35.
25 minutes to midnight, Walt. You would have made it.
Looking like shit, he walks up to the first cab parked at the curb. A cab driver sits inside.
Hey, you got change of 1,000?
Get out of here, you bum.
It's like I'm walking.
Music kicks in. Fade to black. Roll credits. The end.
Bravo.
Hooray!
Yes.
Great job, everybody. Thank you to those who just witnessed this magical moment. And good
Forget
night.
about it.
Forget about